Welcome everybody to round number 5 of the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals and MX Simulator. It is Thunder Valley tonight, and of course my name is Kellen Brauer. We're going to bring you guys the action here for the next few hours, so hopefully you guys will sit back and enjoy the show. Of course, this is the premier class of MX Simulator Racing, and we're already at the 5th round of the National Championship. Kind of crazy that it's gotten this far, but let's see what happened at the last round that got us to this point already as we take a look at the results from that last round at Redbud. It was Jeremy, well, actually this is incorrect, but I knew they had this graphic wrong, so I should have mentioned that to Mr. Cohenauer, but it actually was Payson Johnson, not Jeremy Siebel. Payson Johnson on the 351, who went 2-1 for the overall at Redbud last week, and Colby Eaglin was second. He was the first moto winner. Tyler Lang third, Braden Carter fourth, Jacob Hubbard fifth, and remember Carter and Johnson were only a point apart going into this round, so it actually quite dramatically affected the championship at this point. 12-point gain now in the championship for Payson Johnson over Braden Carter. You see guys like Colby Eaglin, Jacob Hubbard, big movers. Isaiah Dickerson, who did not race last week, instead rode the 450, dropped down 4 in the championship standings, so you can see the movers and shakers there. But now obviously we're heading into this week, and we're going to see how it shakes down in the class. And interestingly enough, Isaiah Dickerson, who dropped so many spots last week, is your fastest qualifier this week. That's right, 201.1 here at Thunder Valley tonight. Colby Eaglin a 202.1, I should say. So Dickerson a second faster, and apologies for the stuff I'm downloading down here. People always sending me skins quite late. Payson Johnson, Braden Carter, Logan Leitzel inside of the top 5, of course. We're about to see the Consolation race, though, which is everybody Alex Munch and Christian Lautzen on back, essentially. Zoe Cross has made it into the Fast 36 on a 208.8, but some of these other guys might sneak in depending on who doesn't show up. It looks like we might have about 10 to 20 people in this Consolation race tonight, so let's go ahead and jump in and take a look. Oh, I forgot I was still downloading that, so let me back out of there and just go into here instead. Got to get the Consolation race started, and it looks like we have 11 riders to be specific. And we're going to get this Consi off here at Thunder Valley tonight. Hopefully you guys are ready to watch some good racing. Thunder Valley, always a very unique racetrack that they race on because it's an elevation, but it doesn't seem like that really is affecting us this week. Obviously, you can't add elevation, the factor of elevation to the game, which would suck power out of the motorcycles. They may have actually updated the traction just a little bit, so it's a little tackier. It holds the bikes back a little bit more. But regardless of which, we're still going to see a great race here tonight at Thunder Valley. And it's going to kick off in this 250 division with the Consolation race, of course. 11 riders going 4 laps, and the top 4 transfer through to the motos. All other runners will be headed back to wherever they are. Maybe it's late in the evening already for them and they're going to head to bed, or maybe it's early in the evening like it is over here in California for myself, and they're going to go have dinner afterwards or something, but they will not be racing the 250 motos that will ensue after the Consolation race is over. And yeah, so great to have everybody here tonight. It looks like we already got some people hanging out in chat. Good to see you all. Hope everybody is doing well tonight on this lovely Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, wherever you are in the world at the moment. Appreciate everybody that's stopping by, watching these broadcasts this week. Of course, we did not have a round of the Grand Prix Championship on Monday. It was going to be a week off for the GPs. I think they're trying to kind of pull it together, Nationals and GPs, so that they're running on pretty much the same week. But, the amount of rounds left are still the same, essentially, in both classes. So I think they're taking a week off in GPs, and we're going to be back at it next week. But obviously, Thunder Valley getting ready to go tonight here in MX Simulator. So here are the runners, 11 riders that will make up this Consolation race. Adrian Wilson, Fitzpatrick, Mark Glover, Chandler Bloxham, Daniel Paz, Matt Model, Casey Oler, Darius Peterson, Jack Fowler, Gavin Smith, and Trevor Schaefer heading to the line. And we're going to get the racing started here tonight, folks. Only 11 guys on the gate, so it looks a little sporadic here. Consolation races having fewer and fewer people compete in it each week, but let's see which of these 11 riders go through into the top 4 out of the Consolation race here at Thunder Valley as we drop the gate. First round of the night off and running. And it's a land rush. A lot of guys down the inside getting good jumps. Nobody picked their gate, it seems like, because there's a lot of guys coming from the outside. But it is Trevor Schaefer picking up the whole shot for the time being. Gavin Smith is going to move into the lead on the GSR LCQ Studios TM, but he puts somebody down on the ground back there. That was Fitzpatrick getting sideways. Now Fitzpatrick gets clipped again, and he's off the bike. So Schaefer continues to motor up the hill, and he goes back into the lead. Gavin Smith drops to second. Jack Fowler down here in third, and Adrian Wilson alongside him in fourth. We saw a rider go down, and we just saw another one hit the deck. That is Gavin Smith going down on that TM. A lot of guys getting shuffled around early here. So as we head back up to the top of the hill, here is Schaefer with Adrian Wilson right behind him. Wilson going to try to close up here on Schaefer and make the move to get into this the lead, I should say, so that he doesn't have to deal with falling back to the final transfer spot, which is currently occupied by a longtime MX Simulator player, Casey Ohlert. KCO Dip on the forums, been around a long time. Obviously has national number 66 on his back, but his Tag Gritty team always runs the wrong skin, so he's on Kyle Robb's bike. Kamar Glover has moved up to third on the SwapMotoLive.com 189. He's trying to run down the 159 of Adrian Wilson down past the mechanics area. This track seems to go all over the place. Just when you feel like you've kind of unraveled yourself from one section, it turns you back around and you go right back into that same area. Down through the kind of like ravine that runs up through the track here. There's a little kind of swampy area that runs underneath it. Little turning double and then up the big Race Factory triple before the finish line. Got this little single. Going to be a lot of passing opportunities over this single jump before the finish line, which is what they're heading over right now. Then just carry your speed. Ooh, Glover. Kamar Glover has had some internet issues. Was that a disconnect? No, he is. Oh, he's coming back now. Ooh, that is some brutal lag on his part. Hopefully Jack Fowler does not get clipped by him. It looks like he's just trying to not be involved whatsoever, but man, that is tough to deal with when someone is lagging that hard as Kamar Glover is. And it still shows him in third right now, interestingly enough. But he's lost a lot of ground back to Jack Fowler. And again, I'll reiterate, what we see in warm-up mode, which is what I'm in, is way different than what other riders are seeing in the servers. So oftentimes you won't see lag. Like someone like Alexis Leclerc is a prime example of this. He's based in France, which is, you know, fairly far away from the servers that host these races. And he's not really laggy, but he's laggy enough that if you're close to him, you do have to race a little bit more careful. But in the game, or in warm-up mode, you can't see that at all. So when someone like Kamar Glover is lagging as bad as he is right now, that is horrific lag for everybody else to see and deal with. Because if it's bad on our end, it's even worse on everybody else that's actually in this race. But it seems like Glover's internet issues have sorted out. Sometimes that happens. I myself go through it, obviously, every now and then, drop frames on the stream or something like that. Seems like they've got it kind of dialed in now. Glover down the inside of Jack Fowler is going to move back up into third. So during his internet issues, he lost that position, but he's going to get it back now. And Jack Fowler is going to hope that his internet issues do not persist. Last thing the 704 wants to do is just run into the back of the 189 while he's in the final transfer spot. But Neil Fitzpatrick would love for that to happen. The AEO Power Sports number 91. Trying to close this gap down from P5. Appears we've already lost Gavin Smith and Darius Peterson in this one. So only 9 runners in this Consolation race. And I'll be honest, as a broadcaster here, this is when the Consolation races get a little painful. Just because instead of having 20 guys go for 4 spots, you only have these 9 riders. And unfortunately, 5 of them are about to be a little bit unhappy, and I get it. That we still need to run these Consolation races to figure out who makes it into the motos. But I do miss when we had more people showing up. So Fitzpatrick still just a few seconds back, and Glover just made a big mistake coming down the hill, so he's going to drop back behind Fowler. And now we got 3 riders bunched together. Fitzpatrick down the inside, gets by Kamar Glover to move up into 4th. That is that final transfer spot. Glover trying to fight back up on the inside, drag racing up to the top of the hill. Many different lines being chosen, and Fitzpatrick goes the long way to try to make the pass on Fowler, but Glover went inside to try to get him back. They're going to go almost 3 wide into this off camber, and Fitzpatrick goes down, and Glover makes the move on Fowler at the same time. Oh, Fitzpatrick pushing the envelope a little bit too hard, goes down there at the bottom of the hill. And Kamar Glover just got sideways, and it looks like he may be off the track. He's going to miss some timing gates here as he rolls over the triple. So Fitzpatrick going to have a good opportunity to close back up then on the 189. Meanwhile, Trevor Schaefer way out in front right now of that final transfer spot. He's only 3 seconds ahead of Adrian Wilson, but they have a further 10 seconds back to Jack Fowler. So our front 2 looking quite comfortable at the moment. As we're about to click onto that final lap of the race, let's go on board the Fitzpatrick to take a look at what this racetrack looks like, and you can see really down to just 7 riders on the track, actually. There's only 2 people still circulating behind Fitzpatrick, who's trying to make the motos out of P5 here. And Glover closing back up on Fowler again for that 3rd spot. Trying to put a buffer between himself and Fitzpatrick coming from behind as white flag waves. Through the rollers. Fowler just trying to keep it on 2 wheels. Looks like Glover is the one who's really trying to put the burners on here and go after Fowler. Through the first corner complex and down the hill. Oh, Glover, front wheel tuck, but a nice save. Oh, is that just lag perhaps? It seems like it sorted itself out. So it's still Schaefer, Wilson, Fowler, Glover. Top 4, Glover down! Oh no, he's in 4th and he goes down. Fitzpatrick streams on by and moves into the final transfer spot. Oh, what a heartbreak for Kamar Glover. Just got a little sideways off the top of the hill. He almost did that the lap before, and it cost him a spot initially into the motos. And this time it may really spell the end of his night here. Daniel Paz, and looks like Chandler Bloxham has called it a moto as well. Casey Ohlert, Matt Model, Gavin Smith, and Darius Peterson all out of this one. Daniel Paz is going to be the last rider circulating if he does not disconnect behind Glover. And Glover just hoping Fitzpatrick essentially blows this one himself. Not sure Glover's going to have the opportunity to close this gap down. I'm sure some people watching in the server right now, though, are going to be happy to see Glover not into the motos. Because last thing you want to do is have somebody who's not quite in the fast echelon of the group. Not saying Glover can't end up inside of the top 20-ish or so in the motos, but if you're going to end up being 4th in the Consolation race, you may end up being one of the riders that ends up getting lapped once or twice. And because of that, if you have severe lag, not the most fun thing to deal with when you're trying to battle for a win out front. Meanwhile, Trevor Schaefer has won the Consolation race. He led home Adrian Wilson, and into the final corner comes Jack Fowler and Fitzpatrick. They will both go through, and it's heartache here in Thunder Valley for Kamar Glover, who was in that final transfer spot and just could not make it work. Tries to backflip the triple, ooh, and has a big off. Daniel Paz still circulating back here. He's got about probably 10 more corners still to go, so we got some time here, unless they just kick him. Glover obviously knows he's not going to the motos, so he's just cruising around. Goes for the backflip on the finish. And got it around, but it still falls off the bike due to a little bit of an overjump there. So Daniel Paz, last man to bring us through. Let's see, is this download finished yet? Not quite. That would have been ample opportunity for me to jump out of the server and get that folder in there. That's the Jack Daniels Racing Pack I'm trying to get. How far is it? 3 minutes. Come on. All right, Paz over the finish line, jump. And cuts confirm our front four stay Schaefer, Wilson, Fowler, Fitzpatrick going through to the motos to make up the final 40 runners heading through into tonight's racing action. So consolation race done. 250 moto number 1 coming up next. And we've got a lively chat here tonight. Good to see everybody hanging out. Glad everybody's having a good time so far. Seems like you guys are chatting amongst each other a little bit. OG Brandon asked, how was the new Cowie? Yeah, it was a great bike. Yeah, yesterday Chris Kiefer did the 2021 KX450 intro for Racer X, which you can now check that video out over at racerxonline.com. I filmed it, and then after I was done filming, or really in between filming because we did a take at the end of the day, but yeah, I got to go out and ride it, spun a couple laps on the vet track, and then decided I was feeling comfortable enough to go out on the pro track at State Fair MX, and I like the Cowie. It's a really good ergonomic bike. I feel like it's got really nice center gravity of weight. Like every time I went off a jump, I never felt like I could be too far, too back or front on the bike. Just kind of floated through the air evenly, and it really helped with cornering, I feel like. Still a little slippy on the front end, but I liked it. I'm too slow to really notice huge differences between bikes, to be honest with you, but anytime I get to ride a brand new KX450, I'm not going to say no. They got the 40 riders in. This pack is not going to finish in time. Oh, well. Is there a JDR rider in the 250 class? I know Daniel Mills sometimes races the 250 division. Not sure if he is tonight, though. What's up, Spork? How you doing? Good to see you. Chase B owns a KX450. I'm going to do something a little fun here tonight because why not? I'm going to add to my story during a broadcast. See if I can figure out technology here. Haha, we're live, people. Come hang out. All right. Bam. Adding to my story on the gram. During the stream. What? Alright, let's see what everybody else is doing in chat here right now as we wait for the first 250 motor to load in. Which part of the track here at Thunder Valley will be tough for these guys to negotiate tonight? I believe it's going to be that tricky, long downhill into the tight right-handed off camber that James Stewart famously crashed at in 2012. You carry so much speed into that corner, and you have to get braked really hard to make that far inside line that everybody seems to be wanting to go for. So I will say that is going to be the trickiest part of the track tonight, but I think starts are going to matter here a lot. This track seems like it's a little bit difficult to pass on just because so much of it is centered on getting good drives in and out of corners and not so much banging bars with people. So as long as you get out front, you can get some clean air and start putting in some consistent laps, you're going to be able to get away from the field in a hurry, and I think it's going to be rather crucial here tonight at Thunder Valley. Let me get this pack in here. I might have to disconnect and reconnect. Congrats, Jack Daniels Racing. You're going to be in at some point. When? I don't know. Does default gearing work on Supercross or Motocross in MX Simulator? Sure. Yeah, default gearing, which is 0-0. I mean, it's a totally fine gearing. You're going to lug the bike a little bit more in Supercross in that gearing, and you're going to run out of gearing outdoors. Outdoors, you usually want to do +1, -1, so you have a little bit longer range. I usually in Supercross run -2, +2 gearing, but that's just me because I like higher revs. But I think most people in Supercross run -1, +1. You can really kind of play around with it and find something that feels comfortable for you. It's not the end of the world. Nick Shin, hello from Germany. Hallo, wie geht's? My 3 years of German classes didn't really pay off when I went to Germany and Austria last year. Funnily enough, I forgot most of what I learned. Same thing for my 5 years of Spanish classes. Although I feel like I can converse in Spanish a little bit better than in German. There we go. Oh my gosh, it takes forever to load in. Alrighty, folks. Time to get revved up and ready to go here at Thunder Valley. 250 Moto number 1 coming up, ready to go. Can Isaiah Dickerson make a statement in his return to racing tonight in the 250 division and take home the win after qualifying fastest? Or will Payson Johnson continue his streak of maddening success in what is his true official rookie season in the pro ranks? We're about to find out right now as we get loaded back in. Hopefully in time for the gate drop, because this is taking forever. I don't like the looks of this. We're probably going to miss the start of the race. Hurry up, Sim. Why do you take us all over? What are we doing? We already loaded in once. What are we loading it again for? Okay, good. I did not miss it. All right. All right, all you cool cats and kittens. It's time for 250 Moto number 1 here at Thunder Valley. JLV moonwalks his way up the track. The revs are up, and the gate is down at Thunder Valley. We're looking at the Frenchman Nathan Print up the hill, but it's actually a drag race between him and Tanner Rogers. The Canadian gets to the corner first, but it's Brayden Carter, the ATE Studios whole shot, as Tanner Rogers takes it away in the second corner. Nathan Print, he moves up into second as Carter went down in the second corner. And so that's going to put him well down the order. James Wilcox with a good start, as is Jacob Hubbard. Logan Leitzel's up here. He switched teams this week. Tyron Tomich on the Connect Visual 311's got a good start. Ethan Gerst, Owen Hillman, Colby Eaglin, Tyler Lang all coming down the hill inside of the top 10. But it is Tanner Rogers on the 499 Mad Cape ride out front here in Colorado as they go up the hills the first time. He's trying to streak away from the field and get away from Print on that 130. Coming back down. This is going to be a tricky part of the racetrack here tonight. It's going to get so rough, so chopped out. We already saw Fitzpatrick have a big off there in the Consi. How about Nathan Print around the outside, down the inside on Tanner Rogers? Doesn't quite get the pass done, but it's a battle here already out at the front. Rogers, Print, and still James Wilcox on that 172. 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack already. 1 minute down, 29 minutes, and 2 laps left to go. Down by the mechanics area for the first time. Keep an eye out for points leader Payson Johnson on that 351, where he is in the running orders. It scrolls across the top of your screen. Looks like he's up into P11. Everybody missed that inside rut coming down to the big whip table, so Rogers continues to lead the way. Rogers from Prinn, Wilcox coming up behind. Prinn laying it over on the table, trying to close it up. He's going to go inside. Trying to show a wheel. Rogers misses the outside rut. Nathan Prinn is going to lead the first lap here at Thunder Valley. First lap of many here in 250 Moto number 1. Ooh, Wilcox way off the track out there. But Prinn now away from Rogers. Wilcox, Logan Leitzel up there in fourth. Hubbard, Tomich, Eaglin, Lang, Gerst, Hillman, and your points leader Johnson just went down in the background. He's getting a little sideways getting up, and he's going to be just ahead of Trent Adams as they come up into that first turn complex. And again, Payson Johnson laying it over a little bit. Johnson's only had one little blip as Trent Adams goes down. One blip this year for Johnson. Dreadful second moto at Southwick. Lost him a chunk of points to Brayden Carter in the championship, but obviously came back with a vengeance. 2-1 last week at Redbud, taking his second overall win from 4 races to start the season. Johnson now trying to close up on everybody ahead of him, but it's still tight action at the front. Prin from Rogers, Wilcox, Leitzel, Hubbard, Eaglin, Tomich, Lang, and Gerst just in an absolute freight train. And you can see Owen Hillman there on the 170 behind them trying to catch up as Rogers hits the deck. Pole shot winner and early race leader Tanner Rogers is losing positions. Oh, Hillman cross jump. Ooh. Man, that would have been a disaster for Rogers to go from leading to down twice had he been cross jumped there by Hillman. Like this battle here between Tomich, Lang, and Gerst. Lang splitting the difference there on the number 14 MB Films ride. Tomich trying to keep pace with Eaglin ahead of him. Eaglin going with Hubbard and Leitzel. Hubbard really coming on strong here these last couple weeks. Looked great last week at Redbud. Consistent finishes and using all of the racetrack here early on, trying to put the pressure on Logan Leitzel. But as I said, well, actually, it doesn't look like he switched teams. He's still on the Mad Cape ride, but this week he's not even using his skins. He did not have Mad Cape in his name last week at Redbud, but was still using the Mad Cape skins. Now he's not even using the Mad Cape skins, but has the team in his name is, oh, Hubbard barrel rolls and somehow stays on the bike. Gerst goes by, Lang slides out, and Rogers scoots on through as well. Then Payson Johnson looks like he's going to get around Lang as Rogers shoots down the inside of Hubbard. Out front, though, still Nathan Prin, the French rider on the 130 Panini Motorsports machine. 5 minutes down, continuing to lead, looking for his first career Race Factor Gaming Pro National Moto victory. And it'll be a good spot here to do it at Thunder Valley as he's trying to get some good points back in this championship fight. How about James Wilcox on the Takatoji 172, running in second right now. This is the year of the triple digits in the 250 class. So many riders with 3 digits making a mark in this outdoor championship. And Wilcox, one of many riders, like Nathan Prin and Payson Johnson, who seems to be riding very strong here in the early runnings. Leitzel still trying to put the pressure on him. Unforced errors, always a commonplace here. This time Wilcox has all that pressure and seems to be dealing with it nicely. See if Leitzel has something sized up. He's going to go inside, roll across the track, and try to shut the door. But Wilcox fights back around the outside. He actually is off the track momentarily. Got to keep it within the stakes, or else JLV's cutting system will penalize you after the race is over. So 2, 3, 4 on the screen, keeping it fairly close together, but losing pace with Nathan Prin ahead of them. It's still Leitzel and Eaglin back here in 3rd and 4th. Ethan Gerst has now moved up to 5th ahead of Tanner Rogers and Tyler Lang. Tyron Tomich just ahead of Felix Anderson on the MadeStickers.com 102. Carrying so much speed up the hill. And here is Payson Johnson once again behind his teammate Owen Hillman. So actually, I want to go back here and look at all this. What is going on back here? Look at this chaos battle. Braden Carter, second in the championship standings, 12 points down to Payson Johnson. Not going to be too fond to see Johnson ahead of him, but trying to fight back as he goes up to 19th. Going to go to 18th as that looks like it might have been Tomich that was down. 5'10" of Brandon Nygren getting stood up in the corner there. He gets tangled with Carter, so Carter now moves up to 17th. This is what it's like to be mid-pack early in these motos. Fighting tooth and nail for every position as he's all over the back wheel of Austin Bear on that number 94 machine now. 250F's really having to pop this uphill triple, having to scrub that single before it hard, as well as Carter's trying to carry some speed around the outside of Bear. See if this outside line is going to work. He's going to make another pass as well as the rider was down, but Carter cannot get it to stick, and that's Dickerson on the 26 funneling in now. So Dickerson clearly on the move again as he cuts across Carter and now goes after Austin Bear. So just as Carter was looking to make a move on Bear, blew the rut, and Dickerson going to take full advantage of it to go around Carter and Austin Bear. 26 machine on the move right now. Fastest qualifier, MV Films number 26. 2019 250 East Supercross champion. Been an up and down couple of weeks for Dickerson, who DNF'd the first moto and DNS'd the second moto at Southwick a few weeks back, and was pretty adamant that he was not a fan of the racetrack back then, and it seemed like it kind of culminated in him just being frustrated with the game for the time being, and it happens. Even the best in this game go through stretches where you just feel like you're hitting the same rut over and over again and it's not working. I've been doing that for the last 2 years in this game. Used to be competent, now I suck at it. But Dickerson was never not competent with the game. He just didn't like some of the things that were going on, so he skipped the motos last week at Redbud. But seems like he's found at least something positive to fight for again, because he's back here this week and being fastest qualifier by over a second here at Thunder Valley. Nothing really to sneeze at. So he's trying to close up on the 25 of Roy Mitchell. And there's a JDR rider whose skins I do not have, but I'll get him after this moto. I already put him in my folder. Benjamin saves Jacob Hubbard up here. Trent Adams giving chase to Owen Hillman. See if Adams has a move down the inside. Oh, Hillman shuts the door hard. So Adams has to funnel back in. Tyler Lang, lonely behind Felix Anderson. Payson Johnson getting a little sideways. Oh man, that is poetry right there, watching those guys just basically rub the knobbies across the lip of that second jump there. Downside it. So smooth. Tanner Rogers, trying to make up from his early falls, now has caught Ethan Gerst on the number 260 AEO bike. This looks to be a battle for fourth right now. Oh, Leitzel all over Wilcox for second finally. See if he can make the move coming down the downhill. All these guys losing touch with Nathan Prynn, who continues to extend his lead. Leitzel inside, this might be the move. Wilcox trying to fight back around the outside. Is going to get a better drive up the hill, and Leitzel just could not get the power down to make the pass. And James Wilcox, man, I'll tell you what, this is one of those rides that really starts establishing yourself. We've seen Wilcox score plenty of points this year, definitely no slouch, but to battle up with the front runners as long as he has, huge confidence boost. Suddenly you really do feel like you belong here at this front group. And making someone like Logan Leitzel, who won races earlier this year, led the points in Supercross at one point, he is having to work to get around this 172. Oh, but Wilcox finally makes a little bobble, and that's going to be all Leitzel needed as he goes on by, and that is P2. But like I said, 18 seconds adrift of Nathan Prynn, who really well could be on his way to his first ever moto win here in the RF Outdoor Championship. And that would be a big bonus for him. I have to think back as well. Obviously Leclerc, French rider, does really well in the 450 class, has won many motos, many races. It has been a minute since we've had a French rider win a 250 moto that I can think of. The names that are coming to my mind for me are like Logan DePatie. I don't even know if he won a 250 Race Factory North American moto at any point. Obviously won some EU stuff and some EMF races. Corentin Dubois, another good French rider from back in the day. Nathan Prin establishing a new generation of young French talent coming up in this game. So Leitzel's second. Eaglin now finds himself up to third. So we got Panini Riders 1, 3, 4 as Payson Johnson is already up to P4. And if this is any indication from races that we've seen already coming up in the first 4 rounds of the season, Payson Johnson, if he's in this situation by the halfway point of the moto, pretty likely he'll be battling for the win at some point. Prin's got a pretty sizable lead, but Johnson, as fast as he gets into these positions, he has been deadly when he's up inside of the top 5 at the halfway point of the motos. Oh, but he just went down. Oh, no. Payson Johnson. So Gerst and Rogers slide through. Lang coming in here with Anderson. Lang trying to get to the inside of Johnson, and Johnson just went down again. I'm not sure. He might have gotten into the side of Felix Anderson there. So James Wilcox also going to go by, but Payson Johnson losing a ton of ground right there. And just as I was about to say that he was in a great position to win these races, Payson Johnson, another big moment. And this is the exact kind of disaster or bad luck, if you want to call it that he had back at Southwick a few rounds ago in that second moto. Although the difference there was he got a bad start and he just could not get moving forward early in the race. This time it seems like got a mid-pack start, moved forward very quickly. But as we come up to the halfway point of this moto, that is not exactly what he was looking to see happen as Felix Anderson goes head over heels. And he will get up behind Payson Johnson. But good ride so far for the 102 MadeStickers.com ride. So we're halfway through this thing. 15 minutes down, 15 minutes, and then 2 laps still to go. So why not go ahead and do a little top 20 rundown? Let's provide this one to you guys by Racetech.com. Racetech Suspension and Engines. Always providing great quality content over there, whether it's their patented gold valves or many of their other line of products that you can check out. Get your suspension dialed in. Of course, they do engine work now, so you can always get your engine rebuilt and redone over there at Racetech. Racetech.com. Head over there today and see how they can dial you in. And ask for Chris Riesenberg when you go there. It's a name that hasn't been around the community that much of late, but he used to be hugely involved with MX Simulator. And still obviously provides some support to the series through his company, Racetech Suspension. All right. Top 20 rundown coming in. It is Nathan Prin on the Panini Motorsports, number 130, who continues to lead the race here at Thunder Valley. 16 minutes into this moto, potentially on the verge of his first ever Race Retro Gaming moto win. Be a big deal for the number 130 machine. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Logan Leitzel, Mad Cape, number 18, sitting in second. Got around James Wilcox a couple laps ago and has since set sail on this position. Looking pretty feisty tonight is Leitzel, as he would like to win this overall at some point. Colby Eaglin, Panini Motorsports number 24, sits in third. Not much to say about him other than he's turned his kind of season around since Redbud. When in that first moto, really seems to give him that shot in the arm. And Eaglin, who really just could not buy a start the first 3 rounds of the championship, finally started getting good starts at Redbud last week. And got another good one here tonight and sits third. Tyler Lang on the MV Films number 14 sits in fourth. Kind of worked his way up to this position from a mid-pack start similar to Johnson, but has stayed on the ground, or stayed off the ground more so than Johnson has, and kept his 2 wheels on the ground, I should say. Fifth right now is Tanner Rogers, Mad Cape number 499, grabbed that hole shot and crashed his way back to about 10th, moved his way back up to 5th, and 5th he stays as he holds off the 172 of James Wilcox on that Takatoji Yamaha. Wilcox trying to put in one of his career best rides in this moto. Was second for a long time, but I think he's going to be content with the position he's in right now in 6th. Felix Anderson, I believe the rider out of Sweden on the MadeStickers.com, number 102, runs 7th. Good ride here. Another triple-digit guy we don't see much of in this series, but he's making a name for himself right now. Holding off Jacob Hubbard, who is 8th on the BlastMX.com, number 46. 9th for Ethan Gerst on the AEO Power Sports, number 260, but he goes back to 10th because coming through, choo-choo training his way to the front, it's the points leader, on the Panini Motorsports number 351. Payson Johnson, he moves up to 9th, puts Gerst back to 10th. 11th, another Panini rider, Owen Hillman on the 170 machine. Good run for him. Isaiah Dickerson, your fastest qualifier on the MB Films number 26, runs 12th ahead of Trent Adams on the number 50 QM1 ride. He's 13th. 14th, Roy Mitchell on the Jack Daniels Racing number 25 apparently has a broken hand, so much so that he has to write it in his name. It is 15th right now for Braden Carter, not where he wants to be at all. Second in the championship standings, 12 points back of Payson Johnson. So if there's any saving grace, it's that Johnson looks like he will not win this moto in this first one. Carter needs to get going. 16th, Casey Cochran on the number 266 BPC ride. He's been putting in some good results of late. Had a couple solid motos at Redbud as well. And a guy that was kind of borderline making motos is now borderline getting points every moto as well. And good to see the progress on the 266 this season. Cale Braden runs 17th on the Elevated Motorsports number 233, holding off this hard charge from Frank Jackson on the number 67 Viraco machine. 19th goes to Trent Shepard on the QM1 number 55, I believe that is, but his teammate around the outside on the 65 is Luke Sullivan, and he's going to go into 19th instead to complete our top 20 rundown, as Shepard drops back to 20th, and that is our top 20 thus far in the moto. 19 and a half minutes in to the first moto here at Thunder Valley in the 250 division. Nathan Prinn continues to lead. That one was brought to you by Racetech.com. Oh, we got a close battle here. Gerst, Johnson, Hubbard. Johnson goes around the outside. Hubbard trying to do the same to Gerst. Let's see if it works. Inside on the 46. He's got to hold it though. Oh, Gerst down. And that is probably going to be all he loses, is that spot to Hubbard, because there's a bigger gap back to Hillman. Meanwhile, Dickerson flying suddenly. 207.9 last time by. 206.6 his best, but he's already on the back door of Hillman here for the 11th position, and Hillman just went down, so Mr. Dickerson's going to say thank you very much. Ethan Gerst, Hubbard. Let's do a quick lap time check. So Nathan Print, 203.7. Good stuff out of him. 209 flat last time by, so pace evening out a little bit, but he only has 10 minutes left to really deal with, and I imagine from his side he'd rather just kind of take it easy and not have too many mistakes, although it looks like he may have just had a little fall because he just lost a 6-second chunk to Logan Leitzel, who did a 204.9 at one point, 213.5 last time by, so he lost a lot of ground to Prin. It looks like he's starting to make some of that time back. Tyler Lang, 207 flat, but consistency kills in this game. 208.7 last time by, and he's in third and seemingly gaining on everybody ahead of him, even though he's running slower lap times, interestingly enough. 224.6 for Egan last time by. That is a horrendous lap time. Must have fallen twice because the 204.9 was his previous best. So he's going to try to regroup off of that one. Felix Anderson is up to fifth. 208 flat, 210.6, similar to Lang. Consistency just killing them out there. 6 seconds down of P4 and trying to close that gap down. Tanner Rogers is right behind him, 207.7. A 205.9 for Payson Johnson, 207.6 for Hubbard, 205.2 for Wilcox, and a 206.6 back here for Dickerson. So Nathan Print on that 203.7 out front, clearing away. Fastest lap on the track at the moment. We'll see if that lasts through the end of the moto for that fastest lap time. Go back and find Payson Johnson here as he is in 7th. And next target for him is going to be Tanner Rogers if he can get to him. Has 8 minutes and 2 laps left to work with. He'd like to get up to Felix Anderson as well if he could. Sure, in his opinion, he could probably get these guys and set sail off towards some more top 5 positions. Not going to be easy though. Bummer for a lot of these other guys, to be honest. So many points left on the table when Payson Johnson has a bad moto like he's having right now. Carter, if he could have won this thing, he's looking so much different championship-wise, but Carter further down the field losing more and more points as Anderson gets hung up on a SpongeBob. And then Hubbard goes down in the background. Interesting. Hubbard looking to take evasive action, just went down by himself, so Wilcox scoots by. Anderson didn't fall, he just was sideways in the track, got clipped by Johnson. But that is another spot gain for Payson Johnson as he tries to set sail after Tanner Rogers next, who now moves up into 5th. Eaglin 4th, Lang 3rd, Leitzel 2nd, and still Prin out front. Not a lot of battling going on, although Eaglin just went down. That's going to allow Rogers to close right in and get around him for 4th. So P4 now in a battle. Payson Johnson just back there in 6th, coming into your screen as well. Johnson looks like he's already starting to close this gap down on Rogers and Eaglin, though Rogers actually trying to stretch out that gap on Eaglin. Does not want to be caught by these two behind him. Doesn't want to be in the proverbial panini sandwich, dare I say. No idea where this team name came from. But I like it. Why not? Is that Wilcox down on the inside? No, that was Wilcox back there, so another Takatoji rider. Looks like he was down. Payson Johnson around the outside of his teammate Eaglin into the first corner. Gets the pass done. That's going to move him up to 5th. And just as I was saying, he's looking further up ahead of him. Now has a chance to get up to 4th. And probably going to need some crashing out of the top 3. But what a moto that would be for Payson Johnson to, right in the middle of this thing, crash outside of the top 10 and then just charge right back into some good points paying positions here. And frankly, he's not really dealing with two guys ahead of Rogers here that are in the championship fight. Prin, I think, would like to say he is, but he's been inconsistent beyond belief this year as Johnson shoots down the inside. That's going to be the pass done on Rogers, and the points leader is now up to 4th in an incredible ride to get to this position in the first place. Ooh, Tyler Lane just got around Logan Leitzel for 2nd. Oh, and Leitzel cartwheels down the track. Big off for the number 18. And that might be Payson Johnson moving to 3rd now. Leitzel's just going to get going as Johnson gets there and is going to hold that position, but it is close now. So just what I was saying, going to need some crashing out of the top 3. And, well, crashing you shall get, Mr. Johnson. Immediately after I say that, Mr. Leitzel hits the deck. Tyler Lang in 2nd, 22 seconds down of our leader, Nathan Prin still. With 4 minutes and 2 laps to go, Johnson misses the rut, and his teammate's going to get back by, but he will hold Rogers at bay, so Eaglin moves back up into 4th. Just ahead of them is still number 18 of Logan Leitzel. Rogers still lurking back here. Eric Thompson drops by the chat. Good to see Mr. E.T. Diaper Dono Money dropping off $2. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Says, I was glad I got to ride this week. I am very glad I got to ride this week as well. I want to start... I need to push myself this year to go ride more. It's going to be tough, obviously, with the new baby, and I don't want to put my wife in that situation, but I want to go ride, man. I miss riding. I really do. Payson Johnson just went down again. Like I said, one of those motos just doesn't seem to work for Johnson. Just as he got in a good position, crashed back out of the top 5 again. So now he's going to have to try to go back after Mr. Jacob Hubbard ahead of him, Tanner Rogers. And Eaglin still all over Logan Leitzel here. This is for 3rd. That's a tricky downhill section off camber. Leitzel carrying so much speed around the outside, but Eaglin seemed to hook that inside rut very well. And now they both funnel to that outside line. Thought Leitzel might stay on the inside line, and then big notch entering that rut there. And if you're new to Race Director Gaming Nationals, Ride365.com Nationals specifically, these tracks break down every moto. They start afresh, and then they start getting chewed up. So you'll see these ruts continue to develop. They start there in the first place, but they will get bigger and bigger, deeper, choppier, bumpier, everything as the motos go on. And the system that is called Erode in MX Simulator, it's usually referred to as terrain deformation as in other games. Man, Eaglin just putting so much pressure on Leitzel, and Leitzel now goes off the track, and that's going to be the move. Leitzel through. I'm sorry, Eaglin threw on Leitzel. Tongue-tied there. Oh, but Leitzel's going to get back by as Eaglin has a big one. Got a little sideways there. We got riders down. Rogers able to avoid them. That is some lap traffic there. Hubbard, Johnson, everybody gets through the lappers clean. Oh, Eaglin, I thought he might have just got a move on the outside, and then Leitzel screwed up the double, and he's not going to get a drive, so Eaglin does move up into third. Oh, and Leitzel goes down. Yes, he's off the bike. So Rogers goes by. There goes Hubbard, and here comes 61 of Dalton Plessinger. There's Payson Johnson. Johnson trying to get Leitzel at the top of the hill. Man, at one point this would have been the battle for second. Both these guys have just crashed their way back to these positions, though. Shout out John Borick. He donates $2. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. He asked, does your daughter look as good as you on a bike? Quite honestly, she probably looks better than me because I am not very fast on a motorcycle, if we're being honest. Payson Johnson around the outside. Oh, filthy scrub across the nose of Leitzel. And Hubbard was down as well, so they both gained a position out of it. But thank you for the donation, Mr. Borick. Kid you not, we were going through diapers like crazy. But that's what new babies do, so appreciate the money. Goes a long way. All right, Nathan Prynn, time has expired, so 2-lap board coming out right now for your race leader. 2 laps left to go for Nathan Prynn on the verge of his very first Race Factory Gaming North American Pro Motocross race victory. He's going to add his name to the board along with Colby Eaglin and Braden Carter, Payson Johnson. He'll be the 4th different winner in the outdoor campaign this year at round number 5. So we've got 8 motos in. And in the 9th moto here, it's going to be the 4th different winner. So it didn't look like Payson Johnson was going to give us much parity to talk about this championship, but good to see some fresh faces at the front. Everybody back here is still fairly close together, but not much battling going on. Payson Johnson just had a big one and another big one, and down he goes. And he just barely clipped Leitzel, who was sneaking around the outside there. So Leitzel able to go by. Tanner Rogers also mixed in ahead of these guys. Eaglin, Lang, Prynn. So it's Prynn, Lang, Eaglin, top 3. Rogers 4th, Leitzel 5th, Johnson is 6th. Hubbard now 7th. And how about Isaiah Dickerson all the way up to 8th on number 26? That's going to be 7th now because Hubbard just went down. So Dickerson doing a really good job of salvaging. This is the ride that Braden Carter needed right here. What Dickerson is doing coming through the field, that's what Braden Carter should have been doing if he wants to fight for this championship. But obviously P13 not going to cut it right now. Dickerson pretty far out of this championship hunt now, having basically missed 2 entire rounds. Logan Leitzel, Tanner Rogers. So here's Prynn. He's going to get the white flag this time by. And on the verge of, man, quite honestly, making history, perhaps. I am just at a complete loss. Normally, I feel like I know MX Simulator history quite well, but it has been so long since a Frenchman won a 250 moto in the North American Championship. Probably missing a big name, of course, and someone's going to scream it at me either in chat or the comments after this video is posted. But Leclerc, he's been just carrying the torch for the French nation for a long time. Not to say there aren't some really good French riders still out there, but Nathan Prin clearly new kid on the block. And at the very least, if he doesn't challenge for this championship, he's going to make things interesting moving into the second half of this championship. If he can fight for moto wins and maybe even put a buffer between himself and teammate Payson Johnson to help him win a championship. This is going to be a good moment, though, for Prin. Clearly has the speed and clearly knows how to get things done. But finally putting it all together is so much more satisfying than you'll ever think it is. Tyron Tomic going down in the background. Down by the mechanics area one more time. Mechanic leaning over, probably saying, "Congrats, buddy." But this is essentially a victory lap because he's ridden so well. He's got such a nice lead established for himself and really sets himself up so well into the second moto. If he can get another good start, I mean, clearly Prin has got some serious speed to play with here at Thunder Valley. But for the first time in his career, Nathan Prin is going to stamp his name on a winner's ticket in the Ride365.com Nationals. Nathan Prin wins 250 Moto number 1 at Thunder Valley. Tyler Lang looks like he's going to hold on for second. Colby Eaglin is in third. Rogers is in fourth. Leitzel's fifth. Johnson down here in sixth. So maybe a battle brewing here for fourth. And shout out to Logan Heagney in chat as down goes Tanner Rogers. That's going to give Leitzel a position. Is it going to give Johnson a position? No, Rogers going to get going for them. But Logan Heagney in chat just reminded me of Clement Lana and Maxime Tassone, two riders back in 2013, I believe, won motos, and they were French riders. They rode for the EMC French motocross team that competed in those races back then, which actually a rider that rode for that team for many years, Johan Mayer, is now, or was, I believe, the president of EMF, which runs the European motocross stuff over there. So it's Dickerson coming across 7th, 8th there for Hubbard. 9th is going to go to Wilcox. And Braden Carter, I guess give him credit because he was down to 13th a few laps ago. And up to 10th he is going to get. Mr. Carter. Oh, that's not going to be good. Teammate going by. Is he going to give him a spot back? Wow, yep, definitely did. There's no way Luke Sullivan's going that wide in that corner if he wants to hold on 10th. So Carter gets back by. Teammate helps him out for 10th. Felix Anderson battling to the line with Austin Bear. But he's going to get 12th because Austin Bear was 27th and a lap down. Roy Mitchell, Casey Cochran coming to the line battling for 13th. Going to go to Mitchell, but Cochran's still a good 14th there. Frank Jackson, he's going to end up 15th in this one. Owen Hillman, 16th. Cale Braden, 17th. And they will stay those positions. Trent Adams is in 18th. He should hold it there. Fitzpatrick out of the Consolation race. Going to score some points. Good stuff for the AEO number 91. And Jaden Wilson on the JDR number 720 is going to get 20th. Because Tyron Tomic was the first rider, one lap down in 21st. Kind of a brutal moto there for the Australian Tomic, who started up front and just faded down to 21st. So here's Wilson. Over the line he comes. He's going to get 20th. It was Tomic, Nygren, Shepard, Cavacuti, Gerst, McDaniel, Hemlock, Thomas Sunis, Don Plessinger, Daniel Irvine, Hahn, Save, Spencer, Kerr, Schaefer, Cross, Vanderbeek, Fowler, Hunt, Wilson. Outside of the points. So we'll wait for Cuts to come in to give us our inside of the points finishes. And I'm going to hop out of the server real quick to get this pack reloaded for the JDR team. There we go. Cuts are in. See if anything changed. Oh, it looks like Wilson or Hillman lost 16th on Cuts to Braden. Now is it. Everything else stayed the same. Nathan Prin confirmed 250 Moto number 1 winner here at Thunder Valley. Let's jump out of the server real quick and come back. Good call, Hegs. Yeah, Kevin Lelong actually led the points in 2013 for a long time. I finished 7th, 250 outdoors that season, and Lelong finished 6th ahead of me, even though he missed like the last 3 races or so. But he led the points for a long time, first half of the season or so. And of course, that title eventually would go to Jeremy Smith, who is a long-time MX Simulator player and, of course, a really good real-life ripper. But if you guys in chat have any questions or any comments or anything you want to talk about, now would be a good time to do so. 154 live people here. I'm sure you guys have things you'd love to talk about. We got a little 5-minute break in between motos. I don't go off the air for this. I hang out, talk to you guys. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, like I said, now's a good time to do it. So bring it up. Let's chat. I'm going to do a quick battery change in my headset for the time being. That's okay. We're not in the server anyway. Alrighty, peoples. Did my story just post now? I think it did. Classic Instagram not loading. Eric Thompson wants to know, am I going to be on the Pulp MX show again? Yes, I am. I was actually supposed to be on the show. What is this week? The 20th. So the show that Starling was on, but I'm like 3rd in line right now, or now I'm 2nd in line. I was going to be behind Starling and whoever's next week's guest is, or if there is a guest or not. Now Steve tells me I'm supposed to be coming on the show on August 3rd, and the reason he keeps pushing me back is because he wants me to come in studio with Chris Betts. I'm a huge baseball fan, season ticket holder for the San Diego Padres, grew up playing baseball. And obviously, Chris Betts is a catcher in the Tampa Bay Rays system. So I think he wants to bring us both on to, I guess, talk about baseball because there's still no racing to talk about. But yeah, I'm supposed to come in to co-host the show on August 3rd, tentatively right now. It might change, but that's supposed to be the next date I come in. Did you download the skins I PM'd you on Discord? No, I did not, unfortunately, because I had a really, really busy day at work. I was gone all day yesterday, so I didn't get to see anything that people sent yesterday. And then, yeah, I didn't get to open Discord until about 5 minutes before the broadcast tonight. So the only time I got to even look for downloading skins tonight was open the forums at like 4 p.m. and just download everything on the forum. So sorry if you didn't post on the forums. I didn't get it. What's my 450 prediction for outdoors this year? I think Eli Tomac is going to clap some cheeks. Just because I don't think anybody else is going to be like 100% really ready. Like it sounds like things are, who knows with Honda. I mean, Kenny's going to be good, but not going to have the fitness, I don't think. Marvin's probably not going to be 100%. You can talk about Osborne and Webb and Anderson and those guys maybe being factors, but I think Tomac's just going to wipe the floor, in my opinion. Rocky Orban, yes, you can play this game on Mac. It's difficult. I think you have to use an emulator, a Windows emulator, because it's not available on Mac. But if you get a Windows emulator on your Mac, you can play this game. There's a tutorial on the forums, I think, actually. It might be on YouTube, too. But there's definitely tutorials out there on how to get MX Simulator on Mac. I know that for sure. How do I think Max Anstey will do outdoors? I want to have high hopes for Anstey, and usually I'm pretty high on GP guys that come over and race in the States. I think that, quite honestly, the top I would say the top 10 GP guys right now could all finish top 5 in an outdoor moto in the US. That's just my opinion. I know some people don't agree with it, but if you look at the people who can get 10th in a GP, you're talking world champion Paul Jonas probably finishes 10th in motos, or Paulin or Tonus, and all these guys are so fast that you talk about Anstey coming over from the GPs, and yes, he wasn't exactly, you know, amazing in his last season in GPs or anything like that, but still, I definitely think he can be a threat, top 5, in and out most of the time. Does he win a moto? Probably not, but I think he'll be a threat. All right, sorry for anybody I missed. I'll be sure to answer them in the next break. But we're ready to go here. 250 moto number 2 is on the gate. And let's see if Nathan Prin can go 1-1 for his first career overall win at Thunder Valley. That 30 board is going to go sideways. JLV is going to moonwalk his way off the track. The revs are up. Who's going to get that AT Studios whole shot? Dickerson, great jump out of the middle on the Honda. A lot of contact on the inside. Carter went down. Dickerson got to the corner first, but then went wide. It's Plessinger, whole shot. Nathan Prin to the lead. And this is huge if Nathan Prin could win this second moto as well. Big day for French riders. Man, imagine if Leclerc goes 1-1 in the 450 class as well, but obviously super early runnings here because Payson Johnson, his teammate, is right behind him in second, and every time Johnson gets good starts, it's usually quickly into the lead, and good freaking bye for the number 351 this season. He has been dynamite when he gets great starts, and another good one here for him as he leads. Logan Lights up behind him. Obviously, Prin's still in the lead out front. Looks like Dalton Plessinger's up there. Hubbard just got a little sideways coming into the corner, and down the inside goes the, is that Benjamin Saves? Yeah, 625 Benjamin Saves. Down went Leitzel, and it's so brutal to go down that early in the moto. So we saw Braden Carter getting absolutely sideways going up into the first corner. Not sure if he ended up going down or not. Doesn't look like he is in this front group. But it's Nathan Prin leading the way down at the bottom of the hill the first time. Johnson, Plessinger, Hubbard, Saves, Dickerson, Irvine, Hillman, Hunt, Gerst, Mitchell, Braden, Kerr, Cross, Shepard, Leitzel, Jackson, Sullivan, Nygren, McDaniel, Adams, Eaglin, Tomich, Thomasunis, Anderson, Carter, Lang, Spencer, Wilson, Hans, Fitzpatrick, Wilcox, Rogers, Cochran, McDaniel, Vanderbeek. Huge freight trainer riders already here early on. And I did see Braden Carter was back here somewhere. There he is, mixed in with Tyler Lang, who of course finished second in the first moto. This is not the start Lang was hoping to get. Oh, Thomasunis just got taken down by Anderson. Peeking inside, Tyler Lang before the finish line. Jump on Carter. They are so far down the order after one lap. That is not a good idea to start battling with each other as Tomich goes down on the 311, sideways in the track there. Everybody funneling into this first corner. Let's peek back out front. Still Prin and Johnson, teammates. And they're opening up a nice lead on the rest of the field after Leitzel crashed out of third early on. If anything, they're putting themselves in a position to settle it between each other. And of course, Johnson not in a position, if he were to beat Prin in this moto straight up, that he would win the overall still. Prin with a 1-2 wins the overall on the day. Of course, Johnson probably just extends his points lead even more, though, in that scenario. So I think ideally for him, he just wants to get around him and actually win this moto. And Prin just went down on the outside. He's off the track. Oh, he's way off the track. I didn't even see him. He's so far off camera. And, he's going to lose a lot of spots here. Down to 6th. Back to, he's going to get on the track just ahead of his teammate in 5th, actually. Owen Hillman coming through. So Nathan Prin coughs up the lead. And the first time in about 35 minutes that he has not been leading the moto. Allows Saves, Dickerson, Hubbard all to go through. Of course, his teammate Payson Johnson goes to the lead. And I'm curious, obviously Prin's lap time is not going to be very good, but I want to get a lap time check of all of our front 5 here to see if anybody is closing these gaps down on Johnson. Or is Johnson just ready to set sail off at the front? Just riding smooth as butter. So Johnson checks in 2:04.7. That is a blistering lap out of him. Hubbard behind in second goes 2:06.6. 2:06.5 out of Dickerson. Prin, who went down, 2:16 dead. And Cooper Hunt going to lead a freight train of riders home, 2:11.6, 2:07.9. And is that Shepard? Yeah, I thought it was. So Mitchell, 2:11.7. Dalton Plessinger did a 2:20.5, so he obviously went down last time by. So across 2:09.4. Benjamin Saves, who also went down, laid down a 2:19.5. He just got sideways coming up the hill. Sullivan's going to go by. Braden Carter back here. Peeking up the inside of Hillman. So Carter finished 10th in the first moto, but obviously lost quite a bit of points to Payson Johnson as he was second in the championship entering, just 12 down. And Johnson, the way things are going today, even without winning the overall, which has kind of been the way it's worked this year, he only has 2 overalls through the 4 rounds. It's not like he's been cleaning house every time, but he is always up front. Somewhere in the top 5, top 3, whatever. Johnson's winning motos. And all these other guys cannot consistently put things together. Just when Braden Carter seemingly had things reeled down just a little bit championship-wise, great motos at Southwick, then it all come unraveled, and Prin down again, and this is going to be really disastrous for him because he's going to lose some more positions, I think. Yep, there goes Shepard and Hunt, and Plessinger coming up right behind him, as is Roy Mitchell on that 25. Zoe Cross back there as well. I think it might be Cale Braden just off the back of this group right now. Or perhaps Benjamin Saves. Oh, Prin trying to show a wheel on Cooper Hunt. Doesn't want to go down though. Look at this absolute freight train right now. It looks like Cross trying to size up something on Mitchell back there. Prin still looks for a move on Hunt. Actually got blocked a little bit. Now Plessinger trying to get in there. Oh, side by side. Oh, that was close. Prin shuts the door on Plessinger and got around Hunt in the process. And look at how close all these guys are. Oh, contact and Prin down with Plessinger out of the first corner. Oh, Nathan Prin. It was looking so well for him so early on. And it is a disaster of all disasters right now. 114 would be his scores, but he just made 2 more positions up, 112. And suddenly, Payson Johnson is looking like he has an opportunity to win this overall with Tyler Lang so far back. Obviously, it was Eagland who finished 3rd in the first moto. It was Lang 2nd. Not out of the question that Johnson doesn't win the moto. Or win the overall, I should say. But Isaiah Dickerson's going to try to come up and spoil the victors a little bit here. 2:03.7 for Dickerson last time by. 2:06 dead out of Johnson. Let's take a little ride on board here with Dickerson, who was your fastest qualifier today, and see if that time continues to come down. 2.5 seconds. Gap slowly shrinking. I think a lot of these guys trying to prove that Dickerson, I should say that Johnson can be beaten. But man, they're having to push the envelope to do it, and Dickerson goes down. So that moves Hubbard up to 2nd. Dickerson drops back to 3rd. Here's Zoe Cross in 4th. The MXLocker.com number 49 with a good ride so far. Another one of those guys that really just rides so consistently smooth that sometimes you forget he's in the mix of these battles, and then he's moved up in some really good positions late in the race. Roy Mitchell is in 5th. Luke Sullivan has climbed up to 6th. Trent Shepard has Eagland going around the outside of him. And Eagland, if he can start making some serious moves here, might get redemption for his loss last week at Redbud with Payson Johnson. He ended up 5th in that first moto, right? Payson Johnson. So Eagland, I think if he can get up to 2nd, regardless of what Johnson does in this moto, Eagland wins the overall. I believe that's how it's going to shake down. In fact, I don't want to be completely wrong, so I'm going to check the first moto results on my phone real quick. But I think that's probably the case as Eagland peeks down the inside of Luke Sullivan up the hill and gets that pass done. And now he goes down as Cross was down, and a big off right there for many riders. Looks like Shepard is involved. Another Panini rider right there. Is that Hillman? The 170? No, it was Prin on the 130. And oh man, so many riders went through. Oh, look at this freight train now going up the hill. That's Anderson coming across the front nose of Cross. And around the outside goes Prin, but Cale Braden's just ahead of him. Tyler Lang is now in a good position. And they're all funneling down the hill as off the track goes. I think Benjamin Saves on the outside. Lang, Anderson, Cross, Prin, Shepard, Wilcox, Cochran. There is Saves off the track outside. This is frantic stuff here as down goes. Was that Prin? No, it was that was Hillman on the 170 getting up. And look at how close these guys all are. Oh, Wilcox with a cross jump gets into Cale Braden's front wheel. Somehow Braden doesn't go down. It's a drag race down the hill right now. And look at this freight train coming through the mechanics area right here. Look at how close all these guys. Oh, over the bars. Hillman in the background, and Braden gets into him and goes down that time. So Saves gets back on by. Oh, and then Anderson gets hung up in the corner down here. That's going to cause a little bit more of a stack up. Eagland trying to get around Cross. Cross made a mistake. Eagland's trying to get that outside line to work. And it's going to. Wow, he's just squeezed in there. Braden Carter's all the way up to 5th. Good stuff out of the 32. Tyler Lang up to 8th now. And Johnson actually finished 6th in the first moto. So yeah, overalls are kind of all over the place right now. Eagland was 3rd. Lang still has a shot at the overall if he can close things down. I just saw Hubbard went down out of 2nd at the bottom of the screen. So Dickerson goes back by for 2nd. So it's Johnson, Dickerson, Hubbard. Roy Mitchell's up to 4th. Carter now finds himself in 5th. He might be going 10 and somewhere inside of the top 5 today. After that top 10 in the first moto, Luke Sullivan 6th, 7th for Tyler Lang now, 8th Cooper Hunt, 9th Colby Eagland, and 10th Felix Anderson, Shepard, Prin, Saves. Everybody's still so close together. What is happening with Nathan Prin is just the camera's getting all wonky on me. Whoa, somebody well off the track there. That was Eagland off the track at the bottom of the hill. Man, this is all kinds of chaos for these guys in the mid-pack. Seemingly nothing going right for some of these guys. But Tyler Lang suddenly is in a really opportune position here. He can sneak up into 4th. That would be good enough for the overall victory. Let me do my math real quick. 4th. That'd be 40 points. Payson Johnson on a 6-1 is putting up 40 points as well, actually. So no, Payson Johnson still gets it. Lang needs 3rd if Johnson wins this moto. Quick maths. 9 plus 10, that's 21. Luke Sullivan being caught by Tyler Lang a little bit. By the way, shout out Balin Jones. I completely missed it with all the chaos, but he donated $2. Thanks, Mr. Balin Jones. He says, "Yeehaw, boys. Thanks for hosting these, Kellen. no sir, thank you for attending these. I always have a blast announcing these races for you guys. And reminder, I don't actually host this race. I think some people message me every now and again, and I think people believe that I like run these races. I do not. I broadcast them. They're run very fabulously by the RaceFactoryGaming.com crew. So definitely check them out if you want to be involved in some of these race series. I just am the broadcast. Think of me as the NBC Sports to the Feld Entertainment, essentially. Still Payson Johnson out front, though, coming up on the halfway point of this moto. Checking in with an 8.6 second lead. Just did a 2:04.3 last time by. Dickerson comes across the line second. Jacob Hubbard in third. Roy Mitchell's in fourth. Braden Carter's still in fifth, so it stays the same. Sullivan, Hunt, Anderson, Eagland, Lang inside of the top 10. Oh, Lang down just as he was about to get by Eagland, who just went down as well. Eagland was actually down with Felix Anderson. So Lang kind of swapped out there. He's going to go behind Trent Shepard. He's now 9th. And man, I know. When was the last time we saw a 6-1 get the overall? It's very, very likely to happen right now, especially with Nathan Prynne, your first moto winner, 17th right now. I mean, he just needed a top 5 in this moto. And I say just needed. I mean, top 5 is still very hard in this class, but as good as he was in the first moto, it's so hard to, it's going to be such a tough pill to swallow, this one for Prynne. Because he got a good start. He could have settled in there, and it just became unglued so fast for him. Lang trying to go around the outside here of Shepard. Shepard holding strong, though. Driving up the hill. Oh, man, Shepard shuts the door. Lang is really putting some pressure on him, though. Gotta imagine Lang is going to open up an opportunity somewhere to take a different line. He just keeps going to the same line, funneling into this inside. He's still right on him. Let's see, might go outside here. Shepard's going to tuck to the inside and defend. Around the outside, Lang, no actually went middle, and it still didn't work, but he's going to go inside here. Pulls up alongside on the triple. Please don't cross-jump each other. Oh, they did. Oh, my gosh, how did they not go down? But Lang goes through into 7th. Next up will be Cooper Hunt on the 304 of LastMX.com Yamaha. And Cooper Hunt having a great ride here. This will be one of his best rides of 2020 so far. If he can hold on to this position, which doesn't seem an impossible task with only 13 minutes and a couple laps still to go, but that's not going to help his case. Runs into the SpongeBob. So there goes Tyler Lang through. Here comes Shepard. Shepard stays at base, so Lang now up to 6th. Or I'm sorry, 7th. But again, the way the math works out, that extra point goes so far when you win a moto. And Lang, who finished 2nd in the first moto, still would need to finish 3rd in this one to win the overall. And just an idea, track map wise, you see 3rd upper right hand corner. That's the red arrow I'm on right now. That is Jacob Hubbard going up the hill right now. We go all the way back to Lang. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners behind him right now. Seems unlikely he's going to get to P3 in this race. Not completely out of the question, because this is MX Simulator at the end of the day. People crash all the time, but doesn't look like it's going to be immediately the most possible thing to happen. Meanwhile, Braden Carter has caught Roy Mitchell in what is really a salvage effort here for Carter today, because it was really bad that first moto. But down the inside, he goes up to 4th. And while Payson Johnson, who is ahead of him in the championship, is looking at going 6-1 on the day, Carter's going to lose points in both motos instead. And right now running 10-4 for his moto scores. As Johnson checks in again out front, and we're well over halfway into this moto, so why not do a top 20 rundown? Seems like battles are stifling out a little bit. And this top 20 rundown is brought to you by the folks at Ride365.com, title sponsor of the series, the Outdoor Championship this year. Great to have them on board in a time where not a lot of sponsors are sticking with people. Ride365.com, sticking with RaceTractorGaming.com, helping out put this series on, and definitely head over there to check them out today. They got a great line of gear that you could check out, as well as many hard parts and other things over there. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need in the moto world at Ride365.com. And they bring you this top 20 rundown, which is currently led by Payson Johnson, your points leader on the Panini Motorsports number 351, looking to potentially sneak this overall away from everybody here at Thunder Valley. Isaiah Dickerson, fastest qualifier, sits second. Dickerson, not a good first moto. Good charge, just not a good ride at the beginning. Caused him to finish, I believe, down in 7th at the end of the day. So Dickerson now running second on the MV Films number 26. Third, Jacob Hubbard, VlastimX.com number 46. This is a good ride for Hubbard as well. Normally really just gets some good starts and tries to hang on, but this time he's actually worked his way forward to get to this position. And so far, so good, and in a position where he very easily could hold this thing on at the end, as Braden Carter back here in 4th has a lot of work ahead of him to try to run him down on this number 32 QM1 machine. Roy Mitchell is in 5th on the number 25 Jack Daniels Racing machine, whose skins I finally have, and I have all their skins. I'm not missing their helmet, I'm not missing their gear or anything. I got everything finally on this JDR team. Only made it halfway through the season before they finally sent me the right pack. Tyler Lang is in 6th on the MV Films number 14, so not going to be thrilled with the fact that he could win this overall with just some more positions gained, but he just has so far to go to get there. Luke Sullivan on the QM1 number 65 right behind him in 7th. 8th right now is Colby Eaglin, Panini number 24. 3rd in the first moto. 8th right now, scores all over the place. Cooper Hunt running 9th on the number 304 VlastimX.com machine. And 10th is Owen Hillman on the number 170 Panini Motorsports machine. 11th, Frank Jackson, number 67 on the Veraco machine. 12th for Casey Cochran on the BPC number 266. 13th, Logan Leitzel, Mad Cape number 18. 14th for Trent Shepard on the QM1 number 55, right ahead of Felix Anderson on the 102 MadeStickers.com machine in 15th. 16th, Tanner Rogers, Mad Cape number 499. 17th for Benjamin Saves on the Elevated Motorsports number 165. 18th is James Wilcox, although Cale Braden's trying to go around the outside of him. Wilcox on the Takatoji number 172 holds the door shut, though, as Cale Braden comes down the hill behind him on the Elevated Motorsports number 233. And the final points-paying position right now goes to Nathan Prynn on the Panini Motorsports number 130, also known as your first moto winner here at Thunder Valley. Don't think I've seen something quite this bad in this situation, where Prynn won the first moto and basically hole shot the second moto. He was leading this thing at one point, crashed his way all the way back to 20th, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better for him right now. Bummer for Prynn, but doing what he can to try to salvage some points at this point as he goes around Wilcox to get up into 19th. And that is a top 20 rundown brought to you by Ride365.com. All right, let's peek back out front and see what's going on. It's still Johnson, and it looks like he's got his lead stretched out a bit over Dickerson again. It's back over that 10-second mark. Crucial here in these races because those fall-off crashes equate to about a 10-second gap. So Dickerson trying to close that gap down here in the latter stages of the race. We're looking at about 7 minutes and a couple laps still to go. And Dickerson, your fastest qualifier, certainly has the ability to run these hot laps and bring that gap down, but Payson Johnson doing a good job of matching him for the time being. Shout out to Logan Heagney in chat letting me know the current scores. Looks like Payson Johnson is going to win this overall by 3 points over Tyler Lang. Isaiah Dickerson sitting on 36 points. Jacob Hubbard on 33, Colby Eaglin on 33, so that's our top 5 currently. And we'll see if that holds. Obviously, a lot can change. Meanwhile, Sullivan actually having to deal with Colby Eaglin right here. So Eaglin trying to pick up some points. This would give him 4th overall ahead of Hubbard. if he can get around Luke Sullivan, trying to navigate around some of that lap traffic. And down by the mechanics area they go. Let's actually go on board with Eaglin here for a little bit and see what it's like to try to chase down Trent Shepard ahead of him. I'm sorry, is this Luke Sullivan still ahead of him? Yeah. So Trent Shepard and Luke Sullivan almost share the same number, so I get confused with them sometimes. Same team, obviously. Lap time check for Eagland in this battle, though, this time by. They're going to go down to the final corner here. 2:09.2 to a 2:09.9, so Eagland did gain a little bit of time last time by on Luke Sullivan. And this is the battle for 7th. Saw that the leaders are actually battling out front, so here it is. Payson Johnson has Dickerson peeking inside, and Dickerson goes through. Now, how does this affect overall scores? Because Dickerson's going to shoot up to 39 points here, and Johnson's going to drop back to 37. This would give Dickerson the overall. And Johnson must have gone down. That has to be the situation here. 2:15.4 last time by. That is well off his normal pace, and he's just has another mistake, almost goes down again. But yeah, Dickerson was 7th in the first moto behind Payson Johnson, who is 6th. So this situation is going to flip the tables here and give a 2-point advantage to Dickerson for the overall scores here. Wouldn't that be something? A 7-1 could get it done. Still have 4.5 minutes and 2 laps left to go. Payson Johnson putting his head down to try to go after Isaiah Dickerson up the road ahead of him. That gap stretching out just a little bit, out to almost 2 seconds at this point. Johnson trying to throw caution to the wind. And boy, this will be fun to watch. Our points leader, one of the fastest riders in this 250 class at the moment, throwing caution to the wind to try to close up this gap because he'd love to have another overall win. 2 overall wins out of 4 rounds. Looking for his 3rd here tonight at round 5 at Thunder Valley. But Isaiah Dickerson, who is not in this championship fight at all anymore after missing the last 2 weeks of competition, essentially, now looking at a chance to sneak an overall win right out of Payson Johnson's hands. Johnson fighting down the inside. He's got this thing close. That gap was coming down in a hurry. Riders down. But they both sneak by. Look at how stacked up. Oh, Johnson into the back wheel and goes down. He's off the bike. Oh, that battle was coming to a head at some point. And Dickerson gets away clean, so Johnson has to go back to work. Lap traffic in the way. That's McDaniel getting out of the way. And one of the Takatoji riders right behind him. Uh-oh, here comes Braden Carter on Hubbard to try to get into 3rd. And talking about damage limitation, Payson Johnson 6th in the first moto. Braden Carter actually only did lose 4 points because he finished 10th. Only 1 point gaps going on down through the field from 6 on back. And now Carter in a situation where he might only lose 2 points on Payson Johnson in this moto. So it was looking so bleak at some point early on in this day with Braden Carter well down the field and Johnson at the front in that first moto. But now he slides out. That's going to cost him a lot of time. But Carter 12 points down at Johnson in the championship entering. Really needed a pick-me-up here tonight. That's not going to go his way, obviously. But salvage mode really coming into play here. If Carter can get around Hubbard, that limits the damage to only 6 total points on the evening lost. 18-point gap in the championship. Not ideal, but not the worst-case scenario for sure, with half of this championship still to go. So they're going to check on in. 28 minutes down, 2 minutes and 2 laps left to go. Time quickly winding down, and Hubbard is down. Jacob Hubbard down after the finish line jump. And Braden Carter takes full advantage to go up into 3rd. So Hubbard losing points in this fight. He's trying to get into the top 5, and now he goes down again. He clips a SpongeBob on the right side of the track and immediately falls off the bike. That might allow Roy Mitchell to get into the mix here. Mitchell on that number 25 Jack Daniels Racing Machine coming up onto that P4 held by Jacob Hubbard. And wow, Tyler Lang is suddenly in a really interesting position here, because if he can get to 4th, 2-4, I believe, beats a 7-1. 2-4 would be 40 points. A 7-1 is 39 points. Tyler Lang still has a chance to sneak this overall win away without winning the moto on the day, and he might not even need to get on the podium in this second moto to do it. Wouldn't that be something? So Lang has to catch Mitchell and Hubbard, which isn't that big of a gap. Look, we'll just see how close it is right here at the top of the hill. Here is Hubbard going on by. There's Mitchell in 5th. And here comes P6. There he is, Tyler Lang. That's the gap he's got to make up to win the overall today. Just trying to keep pace down the hill, not make too many mistakes, and close that gap down. Still Dickerson out front, 13.6 second lead on Johnson. And if things go awry for Johnson, he might be in danger of losing a position to Carter there. But as Dickerson sitting on 7-1 scores, he is guaranteed the overall if Tyler Lang doesn't finish 4th or better in this one. So it's all eyes on Tyler Lang to try to close these gaps down, which he's certainly capable of doing. 2:08.5 last time by. Has the gap down to 2.5 seconds on Roy Mitchell, and time did not expire before they hit the checkered flag that last time by, so it is 3 laps to go because time has now expired for our race leader. Gap down to 1.6, 1.4, continuing to go down. And Lang can obviously see Mitchell ahead of him. That would be for 5th. That would be for 2nd overall right there. And he caught Mitchell in a hurry, so it's not completely out of the question that once he gets around Mitchell, if he does get him quickly here, see if he has an inside move here. He's going to go down the inside. Mitchell lets him have it. And Lang gets the pass done. He's up to 5th. Mitchell didn't put up much of a fight, but he's trying to fight back up the inside now as they go up the hill. Not able to get in there, so Lang holds on to the spot. Next up, he's got to try to run down Hubbard. And again, just an indication of the gap as we see Hubbard going up the hill here. There goes Hubbard. And here comes Lang. So that gap is certainly coming down. Lap time check, 2:08.9 to a 2:28.5 out of Hubbard last time by. Obviously, those crashes didn't help, but 4.8 seconds in it. And it's going to come down here at the bottom of the hill probably a little bit. Lang getting sideways. And down to 4.5 seconds. 4.2. Lang just looking like he's a little bit off kilter, though. Got to settle down in these late stages of the moto. All right, 2-lap board out for race leader Isaiah Dickerson as he crosses the flag this time by. Still Payson Johnson 2nd, Braden Carter 3rd, and P4 is Jacob Hubbard. But if Tyler Lang can somehow reel this gap down and get himself up to 4th, a 2-4 is going to win the overall today. Talked about when's the last time you saw a 6-1 overall. Now we're looking at a 7-1 overall win, perhaps. And if things change here late in the running, it might be a 2-4 overall victory. That gap not really coming down as much as Lang would have liked to see. He's got 2 laps to try to make it happen, though. 2:09.9 last time by, a 2:10.3 out of Hubbard. That is not enough. That's only 4/10 a lap. So Lang has got to really start reeling this gap down quickly. Lap traffic coming into play a little bit here. That's the 5:07 of Nick Tomasunis getting out of the way very nicely. Oh, Lang high centering on the rut a little bit. And drag racing up the hill. Man, I'll tell you what, I want to go see what's going on with our leader right now because Dickerson deep in lap traffic. He's getting around. There's Nathan Prin. First moto winner just got lapped. Tyron Tomic back there. And one of the QM1 riders, that might have been McDaniel. Payson Johnson nowhere close to him, though. Braden Carter's still trying to make up some time. And Tyler Lang, man, if things really fall his way, he could still get third. Another lapped rider getting stuck on a SpongeBob there. Lang right now only 8 seconds behind Carter. Gap dropping down. Time's coming down a little bit here late in the race for Lang. Oh, Hubbard was down, and this is it. Lang is right on him. That was a small bobble for Hubbard because it didn't cost him too much time, but it was just enough to allow the 14 of Lang to get on him, and this is for the overall. Hubbard not a factor for it, but if Lang can get him, it's going to be an overall victory at Thunder Valley. He tries inside. Oh, Hubbard launches into the corner to hold the spot. White flag is waving for our race leader. Lang trying to get around the outside. These guys just flubbing the corners terribly right now. So does Lang have an opportunity sized up somewhere, a place that he would like to make the pass happen? Lost a little bit of ground in that corner there. So these guys are going to get the white flag this time by. Certainly Lang knows what's at stake here as he goes inside. This is going to be the move if he gets it, and he makes it stick down the inside. Tyler Lang is up into fourth. And if it stays the way it is, that is going to be the overall victory. Dickerson, 28 seconds in the lead. Carter might get Johnson for second suddenly. This is our two title rivals. And Braden Carter would love to steal some points back away from his championship combatant here. It was 12 points, and then after the first moto, it was out to 16 points. As it runs, it is an 18-point gap in the championship, but Carter down the inside is going to try to make the move. It's a drag race up the hill. Johnson's got the better line, but Carter's trying to make it work around the outside. No, he shuts the door. And they all funnel to the inside together. Johnson, oh, hung up in the corner, little brake check action. Carter has to hop a tough block. And Payson Johnson just coming unglued a little bit here. And Braden Carter fighting forward, doing a fabulous job to try to claw some points back in this title fight. Dickerson doing everything he can do out front to try to win the overall. But this battle for second still raging down the hill as Carter shoots down the bottom, and they make contact, and Johnson, a huge crash as Carter goes into second, and that might put Johnson down behind Lang. Here comes Lang to the bottom of the hill. This might be third for Lang. No, Johnson gets going just ahead of him. Just ahead of him. Meanwhile, Isaiah Dickerson into the final corner. 7-1 performance on the day. Isaiah Dickerson wins the second moto at Thunder Valley with a backflip over the finish line and a nice wheelie to follow. Johnson trying to hold on for dear life. He goes down! Down out of third, and that's even more points. So a day where Carter was losing points to Johnson may have just flipped the switch entirely. What just happened is Carter into the final corner. He was down as well, but Carter is going to get to the line second. Tyler Lang wins the overall at Thunder Valley, going 2-3. Hubbard fourth, and Eaglin fighting with Johnson to the line. Johnson just gets him by 1/10 of a second. Teammate battling to the flag. Johnson ends up fifth, and that may have held on to the points lead for him, although it's going to be awfully close. Roy Mitchell looks like he's going to come across seventh. Owen Hillman will be eighth here in this one if he holds off Luke Sullivan. But that is all pending, of course, coming down to cuts. JLV, the game creator, has a system installed in the game. If you go off the track too many times, you start getting these penalties applied to your total race time. So we'll have to wait for cuts after this moto as Rogers will come across the line 10th. Frank Jackson finishes 11th. Cooper Hunt will get 12th in this one. Logan Leitzel, Felix Anderson, James Wilcox, Casey Cochran. Benjamin saves Trent Shepard. Shepard, the last man on the lead lap. It was Vanderbeek in 19th, the first man a lap down, and Tomic gets a point this moto on the 311. So here comes Leitzel. He's going to cross the line here. P13. Felix Anderson going to get 14th. Wilcox 15th. I want to try to do some math here real quick. So Payson Johnson, P5 in this moto. He just got 16 points in this moto. Remember, it was a 4-point loss in the first moto. Sixth place for Payson Johnson and 10th place for Braden Carter. However, Carter just finished second, 22 points to 16. He just gained 6 points back, which means that championship gap is now closed back down to 10 points when it was 12 entering as Benjamin saves pirouettes in the final corner. But now it's only a 10-point difference in the championship heading into the 6th round next week, which is an entirely different situation than it was about 15 minutes into this moto. It was looking real bleak for Carter. There's cuts, so let's see if anything changed up at the front. Johnson lost 5th on cuts. Eaglin gets 5th. Johnson drops back to 6th. That's even more points lost, down to a 9-point gap in the championship. Lang ends up 3rd. Carter confirms 2nd. Johnson wins the moto, but the overall goes to Lang, 2-3 on the day. Unbelievable final moto here in the 250 class here from Thunder Valley, and that is going to throw us into a very quick intermission, but do not touch that URL bar, folks, because you want to come back on the other side of this break. We got 450 action coming up hot and heavy here at Thunder Valley, and we'll see you guys in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody, to round number 5 of the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals here in MX Simulator. My name is Kellen Brauer. Glad to be joining you guys here tonight. 450 action coming up here at Thunder Valley. We obviously just had a crazy race in this 250 class. I mean, this 250 championship suddenly seems like it's much more wide open than it was before, and we've got a lot to talk about as well in this 450 division. Before we jump into these qualifying times that are on the screen, though, let's rehash what happened at the last round at Redbud real quick as we take a look at our championship and results standings. Actually, this is the 250 class, so let's pull up the 450 results. Adam Holm won the overall last week at Redbud. First overall win of the season for the Atom Bomb. Alexis Leclerc, your defending champion, ended up second in the overall standings, though, but that 5-point gain on Jack Haley, who had the red plate coming into the round, was enough to leapfrog Haley in the championship standings, and now the defending champion has the red plates going into this week's action at Thunder Valley, 1 point in it. Adam Holm moves to 30 points down in the championship, though, with that overall victory, and it's still obviously very close there with Colton Mitchell and Walter Gebhardt mixed into the battles as well. Only 30 points separating the top 5 through 4 rounds of Nationals in the 450 division so far. Let's take a look at those qualifying times, though, as mentioned here tonight at Thunder Valley. Alexis Leclerc, your fastest qualifier, on a 158.5 to a 159.5 out of Walter Gebhardt. So again, just like this 250 class, somebody 1 second faster than the rest of the field. We'll have to see whether or not those lap times are comparable to what we see in the motos. Adam Holm looking strong again at a 2.4. Brandon Holmes, Jeremy Seabolt all at the front. Jack Haley 7th this week. Colton Mitchell down in 8th, but two guys that are usually a lot better at consistency than they are at hot lapping. Down here, though, is what we're about to see. Everybody 37 on back. Seth Garrett, Aaron Rockefeller, Anthony Pachone, Logan Heagney, and the rest headed to the consolation race. Peter Like, the last man to make it through in the fast 36. All the runners headed to the consolation race, which we are going to jump into the server right now and take a look at, as they are going to be on the track. It looks like they already are loaded in, but I got to get myself reconnected. And we'll get some 450 action started here tonight. So here it is: Travis Hoffman, Braden L., Ian Holm, James Cohen, Leon Tide, Jeremy Wisdowski, Neil Wells, Anthony Pachone, James Ohashi, Logan Heagney, Tommy Dallaire. Again, 11 people, just like in the 250 class, lining up tonight in the consolation race. 4 riders will go through. The other runners headed back to whatever they're going to do for the rest of the night. Watch some TV, go to bed, maybe wake up, depending on what side of the world they're on. Who knows? So let's find out which of the 4 riders will stamp their ticket into tonight's motos at Thunder Valley in the 450 class. 4 laps, 4 riders going through. It's a battle to the death here in the consolation race, as JLV is going to moonwalk his way out of here with the 30 card, and we're going to go racing here in the 450 division. It's the consolation race at Thunder Valley. Ohashi on the 71 TM gets to the corner first, and he's going to try to hold it, but he gets stood up. Looks like Wisdowski might have gotten to the back of him. No, I'm sorry. Wisdowski around the outside, actually, on the Spink ride, is going to go to the lead because Ohashi went down. So there's another Spink rider. I believe it might have been Cohen that got stood up on the inside. Wisdowski leads, Neil Wells, Cohen right there as well, and Logan Heagney up inside of the top 4 early on. We got another rider going down in the background, and now Wisdowski ends up sideways in the track. So Leon Tai trying to scoot on by. Drag race down the hill, and another rider going down. That's Neil Wells. So Cohen goes to the lead. Heagney second, Wisdowski third, and Leon Tai now moves into the final transfer spot. Remember, there's 4 laps here, so these guys trying to jockey for a position quite early on here. Still have a lot of time to work with. Anthony Pachone, Travis Hoffman, Tommy Dallaire coming through in 5, 6, 7 positions right now. So they like to get into the mix at some point. Oh, Dallaire clips his head on the SpongeBob there on the inside, and everybody funneling around him. Braden L., Ohashi, Hoffman all going through. And Pachone already closing the gap. It was actually Pachone, I think, that I saw going down, but down actually now was Wisdowski. And there goes Cohen, so the Spink rider's going down everywhere except Pachone, who just fights his way through to get into second from fifth, but Leon Tai pushes him out at the bottom of the hill and goes back into second for the time being. But now it's the lead because Higney was down. So Tai leading the race, Pachon around the outside trying to take it away from him. Oh, I thought it was going to be dualies. That was going to be sweet if there was, but it was not dualies. Instead, settling in for a little battle as Tai trying to go around the outside, going to lose the lead. Pachon goes through, Higney settles back into third. And James Cohen now finds himself in fourth. Braden L., Travis Hoffman, Tommy Dallaire, Neil Wells, Ohashi, all back here jockeying for positions, but currently outside of transfer. And Jeremy Wasdowski kicking himself because he was in a good spot there early. He's in 11th now. Well off the back of this group. Everybody try and fight their way through here and get into a position where they could take advantage of any of the front four going down, because all of this right now doesn't matter to anybody back here. This is just trying to move forward, essentially. Ohashi trying to get around Dallaire. Neil Wells holding steady at the front of this group. And Travis Hoffman is still P5, but they're all 7 seconds down of James Cohen. Oh, but Cohen almost slides out. Whew. Good save there for the Spink 479. Of course, Cohen holds his pro license in real life. Many times has qualified and finished well at pro nationals. But in this game, he's also no slouch. Although he'd like to prove that a little bit more often. I think he doesn't really quite like going to consolation races, even though he's pretty consistent at making it through the consolation races. Little mistake there for him, allows his teammate Pachon to go back by. Gotta say, I really like that this Spink team, they use different gear for their riders. It is really hard sometimes with the teams in these games that like to run all the same gear, same hubs, helmets, whatever, on the same day. And it is pretty difficult to differentiate them sometimes. Obviously the numbers are significantly different, but you got guys on the same team with 55 and 65 or 65 and 66 or whatever. It gets a little difficult. So I appreciate it, Spink Riders. Thank you for choosing some different gear. Leon Tai, though, feel bummed I don't have his skins, but I just checked Discord like 5 seconds before the broadcast started. Didn't realize that so many people had sent me some stuff. So Leon Tai, I did not get your stuff, but that's okay, because he's looking awfully comfortable out front right now in this consolation race. Logan Higney, Anthony Pachon, and James Cohen still inside of the top 4. Dallaire, Ian Holm, Ohashi, Wasdowski trying to fight back. Wasdowski, another guy that pretty consistently fights into a good position in these consolation races. See if he can't fight his way forward. Oh, Higney was down out of second, goes to the 130 impact ride. So Dallaire, Ian Holm, everybody closing up a little bit more. Higney keeps them all at bay, though, at the bottom of the hill. And actually closing up on Leon Tai, who went down with the lead. So Leon Tai coughs it over, and we got a Spink 1-2, Pachon, Cohen out front. Leon Tai drops back to third, and Higney right on him in fourth. And Wasdowski down in 8th would look to, well, actually he's 9th now behind Hoffman. It looks like Wasdowski's out of this moto, actually, because his times are not updating. Same for Neil Wells and Braden L. So only 8 riders remain. Battle of attrition here in this consolation race. Oh, Leon Tai down. Oh, Leon Tai hits the deck. And there goes Dallaire. There goes Ian Holm. And here comes Ohashi. Ohashi slides out, though. And now Ian Holm and Tommy Dallaire are having an argument over fourth. So this is the final transfer battle. Almost dualies. That was sick. That was a nice whip out of Ian Holm. White flag waving for Pachon out front, and Holm around the outside gets Dallaire for that final transfer spot. Dallaire has to check up and find his way back inside of Ian Holm, perhaps. No, not going to get a move there. Got to keep in mind, still Leon Tai, Ohashi coming from behind, so they don't want to get together, Ian Holm and Tommy Dallaire, because they could lose more positions. So it's Pachon, Cohen, Higney, and Holm. That is your top four right now. Dallaire and Ohashi starting to close up a little bit. Leon Tai still lurking back here. Ian Holm stands it up at the bottom of the hill, and Dallaire closes right up on him. Three-rider battle for the final transfer spot. This could get exciting. Half a lap to go. And this is going to quickly become a matter of who wants it more. Right now, Ian Holm keeping Dallaire and Ohashi at bay, but this is not over yet. Not out of the question that Cohen or anybody up there goes down as Dallaire hits the deck. Ohashi slides around him. So Ian Holm gonna have to deal with James Ohashi. That final transfer spot. And oh, Holm down! And Ohashi goes around the outside of him. Easy as can be. That is gonna be the final transfer spot done and dusted. Meanwhile, Pachon crosses the line out front. Cohen, he's gonna pick up second in this one. Higney will finish up in third. And Ohashi is going to get fourth in this one. Oh, Ian Holm is kicking himself there. Going to come across in fifth. Ends up 5 seconds down at the end. Bummer for Holm. Travis Hoffman also going home early. Tommy Dallaire misses out. Leon Tai, Wisdowski, Wells, and L all out of this one. So we wait for Leon Tai to cross the line. He is going to front flip the uphill triple. Nice. Lands it too. And looks like Hoffman disconnected, so seventh. And cuts. Do not change a thing. So there you go. Pachon, Cohen, Higney, Ohashi to the motos. Everybody else headed to the hauler or to their bed or wherever they are. I don't know what's happening. So, consolation race is done. 450 moto number one coming up next. Glad to see we still have a good amount of people hanging out in chat. 136 viewers. Good to see everybody. Round number 5 of the Ride365.com Nationals from Thunder Valley. 450 class coming up. If you missed the 250 class earlier, you missed some crazy action down the stretch. But this 450 class has the potential to get even gnarlier in what is slowly becoming a pretty interesting championship battle. Top 5 separated by 30 points. Top 2 separated by 1 point. And we'll see whether or not Thunder Valley is a spot for some more chaos. Good to see the chat is so lively right now. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your evening. As we wait for the Race Factory crew to run their scripts, we'll look at an overhead view of the lovely track here, Thunder Valley. If you look at the ground around it, you'll notice that it is pretty much exactly accurate to what Thunder Valley is like in real life. So yes. Oh, thank you, Tyler Berkey. Loves my vids. John Bork wants to know who is my favorite past MXSS broadcaster. Yours is Art Ekman. I'd have to agree. I really liked Art Ekman. So as a play-by-play guy, I liked Ekman, but I think I liked Ekman because by far my favorite color analyst in this sports history was David Bailey. I think David Bailey was much better than anybody that we've had recently. Like, not to be snide or anything, but I think Bailey actually didn't really care enough about his persona or whatever to give his true and honest opinions, which is what we desperately need. Like, we need real, honest, like, that was a stupid move or this or that, like, out of your color analyst. And Bailey always hit the nail on the head with his analyst. So I love David Bailey, and because of that, I think the team of Bailey and Ekman was, gosh, it was so good together. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Pierre Towels says, meant to be at school, but got the day off due to heart problems. Thanks for making my day better. Man, I hope you're doing all right, buddy. Heart problems are never a good thing. I had a friend in school when I was young that she actually had a very little small hole in her heart and had to get heart surgery when she was 7 or so. And I was so scared for her as a little 7-year-old. So I know that it can be tough. So hopefully you're doing okay, buddy. Thank you, Greed J. I will keep up the hard work as long as I possibly can. Danger Zone wants to know, who is my American motocross Mount Rushmore? I think we've been over this before, but if we're just talking about American motocross, those two things, you obviously put Ricky on it. I would put James based on skill, even though he only won one title, but going 24-0 and as good as he was, I think you have to put James up there. And then Dungey would be on my Mount Rushmore. And, you know, I think Tomac can have a chance to get up there this year if he goes 4-peat, but I still just have so much respect for, you know, guys like Gary Jones who are doing it out of box vans or really out of their back of their truck and winning titles. And you know, Gary Jones, he was a legend. Or, you know, you go back to the mid 80s and you got Jeff Ward was a really good motocrosser, obviously. Doug Henry deserves a mention. There's so many great guys over the history, it's tough to pick just 4, but obviously Ricky belongs up there. Dungey, I put him up there because he was the most... He's second all time, 450 outdoor wins, which is ridiculous. Everybody always says, oh, he's a robot, he only went for seconds, blah, blah, blah. But he's second all time. I don't know how you say that about him. And he's so freaking consistent. Like, it's just every single series he entered, he finished third or better, except for the year he broke his neck, and he still finished the moto that year. Like, it's pretty crazy. Let's see. Brennan Willard wants to know, are the ruts pre-made? So, yeah, most of the ruts are like pre-made, but they will dig out deeper as the race goes on. So, you'll see the ruts get deeper and deeper. How do I enjoy that new Cowie? Man, people have asked me how much I've liked the new Cowie more than like any bike I've ridden. Like I rode the new Honda. I rode a KTM e-bike last year. I rode Kiefer's Husky. Like I've been riding a myriad of different bikes, but everyone's like, dude, the Cowie, how's the Cowie, man? And it's like, dude, the Cowie was pretty good. Pretty good bike, gotta say. I'll play Supercross 3 again, probably when Supercross is like more of a relevant talking point. Right now, it's not, because there's no Supercross to talk about. Like, we're outdoor heavy mode right now, so I'm trying to play more outdoor centered stuff, but I'll get back into Supercross 3 eventually. Favorite FMX rider, just because he's one of my all-time heroes, is Travis Pastrana. I grew up idolizing Travis and his demeanor on life, and really I grew up wanting to emulate so much of what Travis did and the person he was and stuff like that. So, you know, I think you put him in the category of FMX rider, but he's motocross, rally, NASCAR, everything. So tough to put him in FMX, but I'd say Travis. I mean, Junkyard Dog was good, Brady. I mean, freaking John Dowd was a legend, but Mount Rushmore? of motocross riders? I don't know. Doubt he didn't even win a title. Caleb, you have a 19 KX450. Yeah, I mean, the last 450 I rode was a 15 KX450. No, that's not the last 450 I rode. I've ridden other 450s, but the last Kawasaki I rode was a 2015. And that bike, the 15, was like way heavier than the 2021 KX feels. I think the weight are pretty similar, but like that KX450 I rode yesterday is so nimble, really easy to kind of throw around, easy to corner. Power-wise, it's, you know, a 450, so it's really kind of smooth and easy to ride like any 450 is these days. I didn't really mess with anything other than shifting between second, third, and fourth most of it, but yeah, it's a great bike. Moto Go-Go's here. Hey, Moto, how you doing, buddy? Glad to see you tonight. We definitely got to get together sometime soon and do some gaming. But right now, it's all focused on this 450 class. 450 Moto number 1 lined up on the gate, ready to go. We're going to turn that 30 cord sideways. We're going to get those revs up, and we're going to go racing here in Thunder Valley. Who's going to get that ATU Studios whole shot? Cohenauer, 13, gets to the corner first. He's going to try to hold it, but Leclerc down the inside. It's Leclerc with the whole shot, and typical Rockstar Husky. They give us 13 downloads. I download all of them. Still doesn't load Leclerc's bikes, but he is a red plate holder. As Leclerc leads away from Cohenauer, Gebhardt, Wisdom, and Holm at the front. So Gebhardt and Holm with some good starts. We're looking for Haley, Mitchell. Where did they get some good some starts up here? Mitchell's down in 7th, it looks like. Do not see Jack Haley just yet. But Leclerc leads, and this is always dangerous. But Leclerc, you know, he's good at starts. This is typical of the Frenchman. But lately, it's been interesting that he hasn't been able to keep the leads as much as he would like to. He's had a lot more pressure from guys like Walter Gebhardt, who's moving up here in 2nd, trying to keep things honest at the front. Still have not seen Jack Haley come across the leaderboard atop the screen just yet. And Colton Mitchell, who was in 7th, has dropped down outside of, what, the top 30 or something? Jeremy Seabolt's buried back there. By the way, Seabolt making his debut on the Rockstar Husky team this evening, so we'll see how the 450 SX champ fares on it. Oh! Gebhardt down in the background. Holm goes by. There goes Cohenauer. There goes, is that Aaron Rockefeller that went through, it looks like? And Gebhardt's going to get back on just ahead of Reed Young on the 42. And then a couple other people getting sideways. Now Rockefeller's back here. So who was the KTM that went by? Is that the 306 of Bradley Clay? Bradley Clay Tiger Designs with a good start. Right out of Great Britain. Haven't seen him up front very often. There's Haley. So Haley actually did get a good start. Missed him through the order on the first lap, but the Jack Daniels Racing rider just made a mistake, lost a few more positions, so he's behind Pilsner, Deering, of course Clay, Dylan Long with a good start. Jet Wisdom with a good start. We got to change for the lead. Adam Holm is ahead of Leclerc. Something happened at the end of that first lap, but Adam Holm out front again. Man, this would be incredible. Adam Holm catching fire moving into the second half of this 2020 outdoor campaign. Really just did not have the speed that he was looking for at the beginning of the season, but that win at Redbud last week has ignited the number 17 machine. So Holm and Leclerc, longtime rivals. Of course, longtime fans of this channel will remember that title fight that went down to literally the final corner back in 2018. That was one of the most insane championship battles I've ever seen anywhere. Adam Holm and Alexis Leclerc. Leclerc taking out Holm in the final corner of the final race of 2018 to win the title. Had Holm stayed up, he would have won the title, but that was incredible, and they had a bit of a rivalry that carried on through 2019. It kind of stifled out as Leclerc, and now gets into the back of Holm. Wow, Leclerc carrying way too much speed down that hill, runs into the back of the number 17, so Cohenauer skirts on by into second. Yeah, that rivalry seems to have kind of burned out a little bit between Leclerc and Holm. Unfortunately, I think it's because Leclerc has gotten the upper hand of Holm pretty much for the most part since that moment happened. Obviously winning back-to-back outdoor titles helped. But Leclerc dealing with a lot of pressure here from Kohenauer. Kohenauer, a little mistake there. So Leclerc opens up a small gap, and now Holm just made a mistake, so Leclerc closing back up on the number 17. Top three, nose to tail through that first corner. And 5 seconds back to Dylan Long. Dylan Long, great ride so far. Always has a funny team name, so I have to go back and see what it is. But look at how close these guys all are. Holm, Leclerc, Kohenauer. Good start here for the RaceFactoryGaming.com president. Jeremy Kohenauer dealing with all the stresses of running the race here tonight. And still putting in a great ride here early on, running third. Little hiccup in the corner there for Leclerc. Another drag race back up the hill. Man, these three are running a really terrific pace at the front. Poor old Walter Gebhardt's second on the opening lap, crashed back to 23rd, so he's going to need some help. Do not want to switch away from this battle, though. This is really good stuff between two of the best in the business right now, Adam Holm and Alexis Leclerc, battling it out front here at Thunder Valley. 5.5 minutes down. So much of this moto still remains, and Leclerc's going to try to charge down the hill once more and try to get up there behind Adam Holm. Can't quite get it. And they're dropping Kohenauer in a hurry. We're going to get some dualies for the leaders. Woo! Dualies. Love it. Leclerc around the outside trying to make it happen. Holm goes to defend. Blocks that line off. Holm and Leclerc carrying some good speed through these tight, twisty sections and continuing to open up a small gap right now on Kohenauer. Still back there is the 13 machine, but these guys running a good pace at the front. And they're bar to bar with the finish line jump. Leclerc trying to make the move. Shuts the door on Holm. Holm fighting back down the inside. Gonna have to settle up behind Leclerc as Leclerc goes to the lead at Thunder Valley. Adam Holm gonna try to fight back and respond here. Good move by Leclerc. Clean done too. Wasn't overly aggressive. Didn't completely chop off his nose or anything like that. And now the defending champ has clean racetrack to set sail upon. Try to run some good lap times. Actually, lap time check, 2:05.5 to a 2:07.5 last time by for Holm. And here is Dylan Long now in third, the McDonald's Motorsport 117. Good to see Long with a good start for once. Long doesn't tend to start out at the front very often, but when he does get good starts, it seems like he's able to run the pace of these leaders for a little while. That's good to see for him as he's going to get past. Jack Haley goes down the inside. But Haley's an alien, so getting passed by him, nothing to really sneeze about there for Mr. Long. Back to fifth right now, Joseph Pilsner. SwapMotoLive.com, number 58, holding off Bryce Whelan on the Panini Motorsports. Number 34, Jeremy Kohenauer has dropped back to the 7 spot. Bradley Clay still in a good position here on the Tiger Designs 306. Ash Deering, Jeff Cooper. And here is Jeremy Siebold making his Rockstar Energy Factory Racing debut. The current 450 Supercross champion. Been on a couple teams of late. Unfortunate the way it goes. Obviously won the title with Panini. Started the outdoors with Panini, then hopped to his own program and was privateer efforting it for a little bit. Won Southwick on a 250 as a complete privateer essentially. Now he's jumped over to this Rockstar Energy Factory Racing team and is teammates with Leclerc, whom he battled with indoors quite a bit and will most likely have to defend his title next year in 2021 against. So we'll see how that team dynamic shapes up, but he's trying to get around Jeff Cooper here, and that's going to be the pass done for the 19 machine. Report is Leclerc crashed out front, and indeed, that's what happened. Adam Holm back to the lead, Haley now second, and Dylan Long finds himself in third, battling it out with the champ. Leclerc trying to get around the Australian. McDonald's Motorsport number 117, ahead of the Rockstar Energy Factory Husqvarna number 1 machine. Drag racing up the hill. Like that line that Jack Haley taking around the outside there on that Jack Daniels Racing number 2. Leclerc's so strong on the brakes, carrying so much speed down the hill. We got a big cartwheel in the background. That was Pilsner, I believe, actually going down. Leclerc, great drive up the hill around the outside. He's going to try to shut the door to the inside. Long goes inside, holds the position. Leclerc trying to fight back. Long scrubs across the track to hold it. And now going to fight back to the inside, misses the rut. Leclerc around the outside makes the pass happen. Good stuff from the champ there. Oh, Long trying to go around the inside of him, gets into the back of Leclerc, who stood it up in the corner. And so coming through now is, actually it was not Pilsner. Pilsner is coming through here with Cohenauer. Dylan Long getting up alongside Bradley Clay. There's Siebold obviously on the 19 as well. And Cooper just off the back of them. So Dylan Long crashes out of one battle and falls right back into another one. But this is a good opportunity for Siebold. Try to make up some quick passes here. Colton Mitchell's fought up to 11th. Haley's down. Jack Haley has hit the deck on the number 2 and now falls behind Colton Mitchell. There comes Chase Blakely. Mitchell now up to 10th. Joel Rayberg, $2.79 of that Canadian casheronis. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate the donation. He was asking who is faster in your opinion, Haley or Leclerc. Two very, very different riding styles. It's really tough to pick between the two of them because Haley, when he's on, almost untouchable. I would say 99% of the time when Haley is feeling it, he is able to run faster laps than Leclerc, but Leclerc is just raw speed, aggression, feistiness. If I'm picking one of the two, I'm picking Leclerc, but it's just because Leclerc has so much deeper of a history of winning in the 450 class. Devin Davis just hit a pole on the inside there. He went down. But you cannot lay up on Jack Haley. The second you think he's falling down a little bit here, he'll turn on the afterburners and start running lap times that are unheard of. I just feel like that video we posted on SYS called Jack Haley is an Animal is proof in the pudding of why you don't want to bet against Haley. Southwick Moto 2 last year, 2019, ran 2.5 seconds faster than his qualifying lap. Don't know how he managed to do that in the second moto, but he did. So Haley around the outside of Pilsner, tailing Cohenauer down the hill. Colton Mitchell is doing a great job of picking up some good spots here. He's going to try to catch up to Jeff Cooper before long. Speaking of long, Dylan Long ahead of Cooper, but behind Siebold. And it's Holmes, Leclerc, Siebold, 1-2-3 right now. So Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna, 2-3. Adam Holm, atom.com, looking to win the first moto 2 weeks in a row after he picked up that Moto 1 win at Redbud. Finished second in the second moto, but good enough to pick up the overall. So he's going to try to do the same strategy today. Just go out, win the first moto, and let the cards be dealt as they are. 30 points down of Leclerc in the championship is Adam Holmes. So if all else stays the same, he'll pull it down to 27. But we still have a lot of rounds left to go, folks. Not even just halfway through the season here at round 5. A lot of motos, a lot of points still on the table. If anything, though, it's good to see Adam Holm back to 2018 form, essentially. Definitely looks like he has started to find that mojo that he lost. Heard people say that he upgraded his computer, so that helped, but he also, at the beginning of the Supercross season earlier this year, had switched to first person, because quite honestly, most of the fast people in this game are first person. If I'm not mistaken, the last third person champion that we had in the 450 class was Zach Dupuis back in 2013 when he won the 450 Outdoor Championship. So it's been a while. Adam Holm almost got it in 2018. But obviously two different styles of play. First person, a lot more kind of simulated feel. You can see the ruts a lot better, so outdoors it helps. But if you're someone like me, you learn the game in third person, behind the rider, obviously more arcade type feeling. But you learn the game in that, you get fast in that position. It's hard to make that switch. I get bad vertigo playing first person, so I can never do it myself, but even seeing some of the people I've heard try to switch from third to first and stuff like that, it just never seems to work, and it seems like Holm has kind of learned the better of his mistake there and gone back to third person for the outdoors. But here's the move for Seabolt. Seabolt just moved around his teammate to move up into that second position, so swapping of the teammates, something Leclerc not really familiar with. He hasn't had a whole lot of teammate help over the years. But Seabolt on the move right now. Good stuff for the number 19 machine. And Colt Mitchell's up to fourth. This is a good ride for Mitchell, responding to some of the early race drama quite well. Kohenauer, Blakely, Long, Mills, Deering, and then Haley. So Haley really having to fight off a lot of points lost here. Copeland, Castellaneta, Rockefeller, Davis, Clay, then Walter Gebhardt. So Walter Gebhardt, of our 5 championship contenders at the moment, is the furthest back, as he is P17 right now. And he is going to be kicking himself for a long time in this one. Starting second and crashing early, just the worst way for it to go. Trying to get around Bradley Clay on the 306 and Devin Davis on the 30, but he's going to get into the back of Clay and go down. Overzealous maneuver there for Gebhardt. So Wilcox, Sean Klein, Joseph Pilsner all go by. Good little battle here. Ash Deering, Dylan Copeland, and Braden Castellaneta going up the hill. Castellaneta alongside Copeland, going to get that spot. And back out front is still Holmes, Seabolt, Leclerc. And Holmes going to be happy to see Seabolt running second in this one, because that is points gained for Holm in this championship fight. 5 more points over Leclerc. Drops that points tally down to just 25 off of Leclerc, and he's going to be in a position where he's going to close up on 3rd and 4th in the championship before long. In fact, after this moto is over, he very likely will be provisionally 4th in the championship and not too far off of 3rd, which are currently occupied by Walter Gebhardt and Colton Mitchell. Long ways to go, though. And while we're at it, though, 17 minutes in, now we kind of just did a really quick kind of run through the field to find out where Gebhardt was, but let's do a real one this time. And it's going to be a top 20 rundown, and this one I'm going to say is brought to you by ATE Studios, because why not? Sponsors the whole shot, gives out some cashola to the people who get some good starts in this game, which is always cool. I'm sure Leclerc is just loving every second of that as he gets some great starts. But ATE Studios does some great works. Mr. Alex Efforts over there, always putting in some solid stuff. And cool thing he came out with last week that I haven't seen many people do in a long time was basically just a component of a helmet. It was a helmet fin that you can add to the blend file of other helmets. I haven't seen someone just come out with a component for gear or stuff like that in a long time. Obviously people have like chest protectors and stuff like that, but I remember people used to have like side mount GoPros or top mount GoPros that you can have on the blend files, but nobody does that stuff anymore. So cool to see Alex Efforts innovating the game still a little bit, and he's going to bring you this top 20 rundown, which is currently led by Adam Holm, atom.com, number 17, looking for back-to-back Moto 1 victories here, round 4 and 5 in the championship, and really starting to assert his case for maybe even coming into this thing with a championship fight coming into the second half of the season. Adam Holm looking strong out front here at Thunder Valley. Second place belongs to Alexis Leclerc, so he got back around his teammate, the #1 defending champion on the Rockstar Husky, 18 seconds down of Adam Holm. Trying to catch up a little bit here, but has a long road ahead of him. Here is his teammate, though, Jeremy Seabolt. Debut ride on that Rockstar Husky team. On the number 19, sits in third. Good ride for him. Fourth right now is Colton Mitchell, Panini Motorsports number 6, losing points to Leclerc and Holm, but obviously gaining points on Haley and Gebhardt, so you win some, you lose some, essentially. Here's fifth right now, Chase Blakely, BPC number 21. Good ride through the field for him so far. Jeremy Kohenauer back in 6th on the MV Films number 13. 7th for Jeff Cooper on the Hemlock number 89. 8th now, Jack Haley. He might lose that spot, though, because he just made a huge mistake. No, he stays in 8th. JDR number 2 runs P8 right now, ahead of his teammate Daniel Mills on the JDR number 31 in 9th. And 10th, Dylan Long, McDonald's Motorsport number 117, holding down a top 10. Let's see if he can wrap up this top 10 here as we move into the final 10 minutes of the moto. 11th, Ash Deering, BPC number 20. Good ride for him, and holding off Braden Castellaneta on the Nova GFX 122. 13th, Dylan Copeland, Tagger Designs Factory Racing number 35. 14th for Devin Davis on the Mad Cape number 30. Didn't realize he went to Mad Cape. I thought he was on Takatoji. In fact, isn't he on the Takatoji bike still? I don't know. Things are wild. Thomas Wilcox, he's down here and was his 15th now on the C4 Designs TM Factory Racing number 27. 16th, Luke Magnetti, BPC number 107. Walter Gebhardt is still 17th on the Panini Motorsports number 5. 18th for Seth Garrett, Vlastimex.com number 92. 19th for Reed Young on the Tegrity number 42. And 20th right now, final points paying position to Bradley Clay, Tagger Designs number 306, looking to score, I believe, what would be his first points at a Pro National if he can hold on to this spot. He's got Aaron Rockefeller, though, on the Underground RC number 800, closing up on behind him. And that is a top 20. Oh, as Rockefeller goes down. Top 20 rundown brought to you by ATE Studios, Alex Efforts. Got to check out some of the stuff he does on the forums. Quality work for a quality price. All right, so Adam Holmes leads Leclerc, Seabolt, Mitchell, Blakely top 5, but I want to go back and look at some of these other battles we got brewing here. Dylan Long looks to have shaken off some of the pressure from Ash Deering that we saw him dealing with. Castellaneta. Oh, Daniel Mills just went down. Daniel Mills off the bike. Let's see if he loses more spots. I think he lost a spot to Castellaneta with that crash, but he's not going to lose a spot to Copeland. And suddenly, Walter Gebhardt has made a lot of positions up to 14th. Might go to 13th here on Copeland, and he does. This would be a big boost for Gebhardt. Get up inside of this top 10. He's got 8 minutes and 2 laps left to work with. Unfortunately for him, if he gets around Daniel Mills here, he's got pretty big gap to get up to some of the people ahead of him. Oh, that is not going to help either. Gebhardt trying to jump down the inside, plows into the side of Daniel Mills and takes him down. And these two, I think they're running the same set of gear, the same Thor set. Seems like it is to me. I could be wrong, but Gebhardt obviously has the Thor Sentinel on, I believe. It's kind of funny how they look quite similar, but obviously different bikes, different teams. And joined in chat now by Moto-Sun, a.k.a. Joseph Pilsner, who says he is officially retiring from RF Racing. Unfortunate for Pilsner, who was in a great position early in this moto. And as they say, the poo hit the fan. Seems like Seabolt's reeling in Leclerc again. 205.6, 207 dead. He definitely is. Got that gap down to 2.9 seconds. And wouldn't this be something, again, to get up there and steal some points away from your teammate? Seabolt is just not in this title fight at all because he spent most of the beginning of the season racing 250s. Not sure why, as the current 450 champion in Supercross, he jumped back down to the 250. I guess he just liked it, but picked up this Rockstar Husky ride, and wouldn't you know it, actually is pretty good on a 450, so was missing out on something all along. Oh my gosh, how did he save that? What a ride down the hill. Jeremy Seabolt just got completely swapped out down the hill, and somehow, some way, only lost a couple tenths off of it as well. But that was a save of a lifetime right there if I've ever seen one. That was some serious bars to the side correction. You heard him kind of blipping the throttle coming down the hill. And now he goes down, cross ruts, flips over, and it comes unglued. Oh, Mitchell's down. Haley goes by, as does Cohenauer. Colton Mitchell can't seem to get the grips on this Panini Motorsports number 6 today here at Thunder Valley. So back to the drawing board for him, as he tries to run down Cohenauer, and obviously Haley got by. Chase Blakely quietly snuck up into 4th during all this. Not sure why I don't have his bike. But I do not. I'll have to look on the forums or maybe one of my 800 PMs I have. See where I missed it. So where can Haley get to feasibly? He's in 5th. He's only probably going to get to 4th maybe. And 1 point down on the championship to Leclerc. He's got to hope Seabolt can get to Leclerc, but 13 seconds down to Leclerc is Seabolt right now, so it's looking a little bleak. .16.6 out of Seabolt last time by, so came unglued a little bit lap time wise, must have had a fall. Meanwhile, Adam Holm just went down with lappers. Aaron Rockefeller, I believe, on the 800 was mixed in there. But not sure if that was caused by lappers or Holm himself going a little deep in the corners. Either way, this is setting up an interesting dynamic because suddenly Alexis Leclerc is kind of close, only 10 seconds down. And wouldn't this be a disaster championship-wise for everybody else if Leclerc can come through late in this one to win this first moto? Got to hand it to Leclerc because talked about it extensively last year in Supercross. Didn't pick up a win in Supercross last year. Same could be said for Jack Haley this year in his title defense. But Leclerc's problem for most of Supercross last year, and even some of Outdoors, even though he won the title, was his bike setup seemed to suit qualifying pace more than it did race pace. So he just really struggled after the halfway point in both Supercross and Motocross. It was just a problem that persisted for him. Now it seems as though he's got it figured out in the other direction, as in, like, he gets good starts still. He knows how to get good starts, obviously. But early parts of the race doesn't really go his direction all the time. It seems like he either crashes more often or just straight up gets passed. And then late in the race, he comes on really strong, starts running really consistent, quick lap times. Bike seems to handle well. And I just think there's some credit deserved there, because instead of just sticking to his tried and true ways and always going for the hot laps and thinking about a qualifying setup at all times, it seems like he's found either a middle ground or a more, setup that's more tailored to those late race charges like he's trying to go on here. So good on Leclerc for changing up his racecraft a little bit here. Adam Holm, though, doing a good job, though, at kind of stifling the advances from Leclerc at this point. Jack Haley has moved up to 4th. Cohenauer is now 5th. Blakely, Mitchell. So Mitchell has a chance to get up into 5th if he can make some passes quick here. Wow, how did he split that? Oh, my gosh. Ohashi was down. and there's riders literally everywhere. And Mitchell somehow skirted around Ohashi, then cut back across and stayed right behind Blakely. That was about as close as it gets to going down. And still all over Blakely. This is for 6th, though. Like I said, probably wants to get up to 5th. Salvage any championship points that he can. We'll have to go back and see where Gebhardt is getting to. But Blakely, for the time being, holding steady right behind Kohenauer. And Mitchell peeking down the inside. So 3-rider battle here. Look at this move. Mitchell trying to get to the inside. And it's going to go 3 wide almost up the hill. Mitchell trying to go around the outside. It is 3 wide now at the top of the hill. 3 different ruts. And Blakely loses out there. He drops behind Mitchell, who goes around the outside to get around him. Almost got Kohenauer as well. Now they all settle to the inside rut. And Blakely's going to try to go to the outside to get back around Mitchell. And he does. Wow, what a move. Chase Blakely. And Colton Mitchell doesn't know what happened to him. And Blakely now cuts to the inside, gets Kohenauer. So Chase Blakely, 2 corners, 2 passes. Nicely done for the 21. Kohenauer has to think, what the heck just happened there? But Blakely, just as quickly as he realized he got passed there by Colton Mitchell, he turned up the afterburners, went around the outside, then back to the inside to get Kohenauer. Great moves on both sides of the spectrum there for the 21. And time has now expired. So where is the leader? The leader is coming down the downhill at the top of the hill. So 3 laps to go. These guys are getting 3 to go this time by, essentially. Kohenauer trying to fight back here on Blakely. 3 different lines again being used. Mitchell, almost got to the inside there of Kohenauer and made contact. That was quite close between the two. Okay, Colton Mitchell cutting the track there a little bit. Sunshine off the side. And just completely went to the right side of the SpongeBob. Last thing you want to do is pass the president of the sanctioning body here, Mr. Jeremy Kohenauer, while off track. So, got to keep it in check there, Mr. Colton Mitchell. Got Dylan Long back here. He is in the 8th position, so good ride for the Aussie. As I say that, he gets all swap-diddied. Head of Ash Deering, Castellaneta, and Gebhardt's now up to 11th. He could still maybe get Castellaneta for 10th. But he's got to be wary because Mills, Klein, Wilcox still coming behind him. Could all get by him as well if he crashed. All right, so Holm coming in this time. Whoa, okay, slid out and made contact. Several riders plow into Holm before the finish line jump. Zero situational awareness for some riders there, and Holm is down before the finish line. This is going to allow Leclerc to close right up on him. As he comes over the finish line, jumps to Leclerc, actually just slid out as well. 2-lap board is out. Holm suddenly in a much different situation than he was, and actually Seabolt has caught back to both of them. So Seabolt on Leclerc, what kind of lap times have these guys ran? 18.7, 13.7, and a 2:05.9. And suddenly we got 3 riders all within a shot at winning this moto. Adam Holm going to try to settle down after the chaos ensued with lap traffic there. And Leclerc now has to work his way around some of this lap traffic. 3 riders ahead of him, to be specific. And Seabolt got the bit between his teeth trying to close up on his teammate now. So this could go a myriad of different ways. It could really benefit Leclerc, or it could really hurt him championship-wise. And Leclerc just went down. Looks like he maybe hit a SpongeBob, or maybe just clipped his head or slid out. I'm not sure what happened there. But Leclerc down and back to 3rd, so Seabolt moves up to 2nd. Adam Holm continues to lead. Lappers falling all over the place right now. This is going to be treacherous last couple laps here. Brandon Holmes on the 62, next rider ahead of Holm. Nicely done, moves out of the way there. 6 seconds in between him and Seabolt. Haley looks like he might be a lock for 4th, and he's going to be real happy to see that Leclerc finished ahead of him. So that's only 2 points lost, 3-point difference in the championship after this one. Holm down by the mechanics area. Seabolt coming up next behind him. Getting a little wayward there, but trying to tuck to the far inside to avoid the deeper bumps. And it seems like this is going to come down to a battle of who can make the least amount of mistakes on the final lap of the race. So Holm going to come through, pick up the white flag this time by. And again, he almost slid out there again. Man, that is... He's got to hope he doesn't happen on the last lap of the race if he's in a battle. But Holm checks in out front, white flag waving. Seabolt coming across the line in second, looking to win on his Rockstar Husky debut. Has to go run down Adam Holm to do it. And Leclerc going, what the heck? Why do I have a teammate that's beating me and he's not in the championship fight? This is ridiculous. Jack Haley back in fourth. Blakely, Cohenauer, Colton Mitchell still not able to make headroom on Cohenauer just yet for sixth. Deering seventh, Long eighth. Mills up to ninth. Castaneda is 10th. Wilcox 11th. Klein 12th. And Gebhardt all the way back to 13th for the number 5. And Gebhardt just down again. Oh, someone going over top of him there. 729. That's Andrew Wood. Having a grand old time. But Adam Holm coming down this tricky downhill is seriously taking it easy at this point. Seabolt, if he continues to charge, gets this thing close, you really never know in this game. Cuts could change everything. Or just a last turn slide out like Adam Holm has almost had these last couple laps. So Seabolt, 3.9 seconds to race leader Adam Holm. Nobody in between himself and Holm, but Holm does have quite a bit of lap traffic to deal with if he gets to them before the flag. He's got about 6 corners left to navigate. Gap extending just a little bit on Seabolt. Holm up here. Again, just trying to take it easy. 3.5 seconds. Lapper's doing a nice job to get out of the way. Only a couple more turns to go. Oh, this lapper, Adam Holm is sweating bullets right now with these lappers. And almost lapped Gebhardt as well. Final corner, though. Adam Holm wins the first moto 2 weeks in a row. He wins Moto 1 here at Thunder Valley. Seabolt crosses the line second. And Alexis Leclerc loses 5 championship points to Holm. 25-point lead in the championship on Holm still. But more importantly, Jack Haley, he clawed his way up to 4th, only loses 2 points to Leclerc. Now it's only a 3-point lead for Leclerc in the championship. It was a 1-point lead, but it could have been so much more had Leclerc held on for that victory or Haley not fought his way up to get 4th in this one. So good ride for the number 2 machine. Chase Blakely sitting here in 5th. Should manage that one. Cohenauer 6th. Mitchell dropped off Cohenauer, so he's going to finish 7th for sure. Deering is 8th. Mills is 9th. And then this battle, Dylan Long, Castellaneta, Sean Klein, Wilcox, Jeff Cooper, Magnetti, Gebhardt, Devin Davis. So was that Gebhardt that was about to be lapped? Not sure. Magnetti trying to get to the inside of Cooper. Cooper goes down. Well, he stays up, but... And now Gebhardt off the bike. Man, Gebhardt is just... his controller is probably through a window at this point. Poor Walter Gebhardt trying to fight for this championship and just things not going his way. Devin Davis just got 3 gifts for the price of 1. He goes around Magnetti. Now finds himself up in 14th when he was 17th just a moment ago. Then he got absolutely turned on that uphill triple. Magnetti trying to fight back on Davis. Davis messes the corner. Magnetti goes back around him. Cooper trying to get in there and make a difference as well. Magnetti getting a little sideways. Davis trying to fight back. Wilcox just got Castellaneta. So Long ends up 10th. Klein will be 11th. Wilcox 12th. Castellaneta 13th. And Magnetti's trying to hold off 14th on Davis. Final couple of corners for the 107. And Magnetti will indeed hold on to 14th. Davis ends up 15th. 16th to Jeff Cooper. And Gebhardt gonna have to settle for 17th in this moto, which is dreadful. He was almost on the verge of maybe finishing top 10 in this one to really salvage some good points, but 17th, right in the middle of a title fight. Kind of spelling a disaster for him here, and you can see he's not going to be too thrilled about this one. Crosses the line. Let's see if cuts changed anything. Behind them is Holmes, Garrett, and Young. They stay that way. And Davis loses 15th on cuts to Jeff Cooper. Wilcox loses 12th on cuts to Castellaneta. And that was it. Adam Holm confirmed race winner, Moto 1 here at Thunder Valley. All right, 5-minute break incoming as they get ready to re-rack them for the second moto. So this is the time where chat, if you guys have any questions you'd like to ask me and anything we'd like to talk about, do so now. I'd be happy to chit-chat with you guys for a little bit. My only free time here, so take advantage of it when I can. Greed J wants to know, can we be friends? Of course we can be friends. I'm friends with any and all that are fans of dirt bikes. Do I watch NASCAR? Not as much as I used to. I was a pretty big fan of it back when I was a teenager. That was a decade ago now, but yeah, I mean, I like NASCAR. It can be interesting. I don't really like the rules package they have in NASCAR these days. Chase format kind of takes me out of it a little bit, in my opinion. And I don't like some of the personalities in NASCAR these days. So because of all that, I just don't watch it as often. But I still, when I can catch a race, do tune in and watch from time to time. I think MX Bikes will ever take over or have a big series like these. I don't know about take over. I mean, it might have a big series like this, but it still has so many things it needs to fix up in terms of net code and structure. It's not the easiest thing to host or watch races on the game, so I can't really broadcast it because it just doesn't look that smooth or crisp like it does in Sim. So it'll get there. But we'll see. Talon Oporsky, not meaning to sound rude, but how did you get to be the announcer of these races? Good question. So back in 2012, Race Factor Gaming had pretty much just launched. They were hosting their first Supercross season, and I had picked up the game. I was new to the game, but I was also a journalist in practice. I was going to college to become a journalist, which I now obviously am. I work for RacerXOnline.com, but yeah, so I wanted to write stuff. I just wanted to get involved in the game anywhere that I could. So I wrote a ton of articles. I wrote recap articles of the races. I wrote about I asked questions to riders and got their thoughts and opinions on stuff. I wrote like track reports and stuff like that. And eventually Race Factory picked all that up and started putting it on their website. And through that, it slowly became a possibility for me to join their broadcast. So Sween and Wheels, who ran Race Factory back then, did the broadcast back then as well. And they befriended me because I was writing race reports for them, essentially. Then I got to be on some of their broadcasts. I did some of the outdoor broadcasts as basically just like a color analyst. Then I got pretty good at the game, so that kind of helped my repertoire, knowing what I was talking about and stuff like that. And yeah, before long, I was the sole broadcaster for the Outdoor Nationals in 2013. I gave up duties of broadcasting in 2014. That was done by my man Nathan Nickerson. And I think, I think people like my announcing and stuff like that. So when SYS started back in 2015 or at the end of 2014 going into 2015, we talked with Race Factory about having the rights essentially to broadcast Supercross and motocross for Race Factory competition. They allowed us to do it. Myself and Jeremy Hinters switched off duties doing that, but obviously it's now just kind of me handling most of it. So yeah, it was a long process of getting my name out there in the game and being recognized and hard work and stuff like that. But eventually I got into this position and I like doing it, so I've stuck with it. Big shout out Eric Thompson, $20 in chat. You are the man, slamming down the dono. You are the best. My daughter went through hundreds of diapers. Thank you for streaming. Oh man, seriously, that is. Eric, you're too nice of a guy, man. I feel like at one point I'm gonna send you a shirt, Eric. I know you messaged me on Facebook. I'm gonna message you back on Facebook. I'm sending you a shirt because you're too nice to me. So, get you some SYS merch. If you would like SYS merch yourself, head down to the description below. There's a merch link. But Mr. Eric Thompson, because he's such a nice guy and always donates here, I'm gonna give him a shirt. Let's see. Do I think they will race outdoors this year? I mean, at the moment, yeah, it seems like they're gonna try. I don't think Milestone's gonna make a Lucas Oil Pro Motocross video game soon, so I know people like barking up that tree, but unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be the case. Hinters, he's still around. He went golfing with my buddy Byron Downen a couple weeks ago. He got busy with his life. He and I both understood. I mean, I get it. I wish he was still around. I really enjoyed the friendship I had with him, and I do miss the gaming and stuff that we get to do, but he got busy with life. He, was, I think, trying to get a manager position at the gym that he was working at and stuff like that, so it happens. We parted ways, essentially, but anytime he wants to come back, he's always welcome. I'd always welcome him back, and, yeah, good dude. All right, well, then if you don't want a shirt, Eric, I'm sending you a coffee mug or something, dude. I'll message you. We'll touch base. Uh-oh, looks like the 89 machine is in indefinite lag out in the server. Who's the 89 machine? Oh, we're in. I don't know who it was, but they are in, or are they out? No, they're in. Jeff Cooper. All right, so it is time for 450 moto number 2 here at Thunder Valley. Let's go racing. Looks like Holm got a pretty good start, but he's down halfway up the start straight, and Leclerc gets the whole shot again. Gebhardt, Mitchell up there. Dylan Long gets a good start. He's in third. But it was definitely Adam Holm. I saw it going down coming into the first corner as Leclerc. Whole shots again. ATE Studios whole shot award goes to Leclerc. Both motos here at Thunder Valley. Walter Gebhardt once again starting in second. Let's see if he can have a better moto this time around. 17th in the first moto. Not what he was hoping for at all. And how about Dylan Long, the Aussie, top 10 in the first moto, trying to get another top 10 here. Has a third place start to work with as Gebhardt goes to work on Leclerc up the hill the first lap. Everybody funneling for positions back there. I think I may have seen Adam Holm coming through. He's about mid-pack right now as Gebhardt peeks inside on Leclerc. Not able to get there just yet. Leclerc defends nicely. Haley got a 6th place start here. We're looking through the order. Seabolt, he was second in moto number 1. He's 8th right now. I'd have to imagine that Adam Holm, who was definitely going down in that first corner, collected a lot of other people with him. So I guess that would be the saving grace for him, is that as Gebhardt gets into the back of Leclerc and goes down, so everybody stacks up, and Mitchell's down. Dylan Long kind of hits the back of him and flips him over. So Gebhardt gets going, still kind of mixed into this battle here a little bit. I don't see, did Jack Haley go by? Yes, he did, okay. Thought we may have lost him, but it's now Leclerc, Haley, Seabolt, 1, 2, 3. That is a quick changeup. So it's Rockstar Husky, JDR, Rockstar Husky, JDR. 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. Dylan Long gets up 5th. Gebhardt 6th. Magnetti, Blakely, Copeland, Holmes. Holm, there he is. A good start for him after that early fall. He is already up to 11th, Adam Holm is. So that is pretty incredible considering going down in the first corner. To be 11th after lap 1 and only, give or take, 12 seconds down on the race lead, which is Leclerc. Doesn't need to win the second moto again, just like last week at Redbud, because Leclerc finished third that first moto. He can get second and still win the overall, Ken Holm, but I think he'd love to go 1-1 here today. Holm peeking around the outside to go around Copeland, then reacts very nicely to Magnetti down in the rut there. So Holm's up to 10th, looking at 9th here. Trying to get the drive up the hill to the outside of the 35. Dylan Copeland gonna swing to that far outside, and let's see if he can carry some speed down the hill. He's gonna swoop in to this inside line, get on those brakes, and made that pass. Dylan Copeland back a spot, Adam Holm up a spot. Next up, he'll try to get Chase Blakely. Now Blakely is back on his bike, so must have either loaded the wrong setup or something first moto. It is what it is. Looks like Long lost a spot to Gebhardt. Daniel Mills is still 4th, Siebel right ahead of him. Then Haley. And Alexis Leclerc continuing to lead the race. So this has the makings for an interesting race in terms of overalls. Leclerc in a position right now where he could go out and choose his own destiny, essentially. 3-1 might get it done. Only the way it wouldn't get it done is if Adam Holm could get second again, which is exactly what happened last week. Leclerc 3-1, Holm 1-2. Holm got the overall. That's the exact scenario we could look at again today if Holm can get up to second. But Haley in second early on. That's a good start for him. Daniel Mills has just moved up to 3rd, so we've lost Siebold. Gebhardt now 4th. Siebold now back in between Gebhardt and Blakely. And Adam Holm charging forward, already on the back of this group. Oh, Holm getting a little slideways in the corner there. Everybody drag racing up the hill. You can see Magnetti, Copeland, Holmes, Long, Wisdom, Wood, Cooper. Here's Colton Mitchell back here. Ash Deering, Cohenauer with a worst start this time around. Is going to have some work to do. Oh, Magnetti down at the top of the hill. Rough spot to go down. Blind here, and oh my gosh. And there goes Cooper. Front flips, lands it. Jeff Cooper, nicely done on the 89, salvaging that one. It's going to be a hard mouth moment for the Hemlock rider. But who's that Yamaha that snuck by? That was Jet Wisdom, I think, on the MX Locker. Is this the 400 machine? Jet Wisdom, not sure what number he is. 403. Yeah, he was all kinds of sideways coming down the hill, clipping the side there of Magnetti, but Jeff Cooper front flipping over him. That was pretty awesome. Dylan Long around the outside of Copeland, battle the Dylans. Wow, how did Long get stopped for that corner? Just drove it in so deep. Dylan Long, real life Ripper, now suddenly is Sim Ripper. He is absolutely flying around this Thunder Valley track. So Adam Holm next up, gonna try to get around Chase Blakely. And I think Blakely's holding down 6th. Yeah, so Holm trying to get up into P6 right now. Holm 16 seconds off of Leclerc out front, but I mean only 6 minutes into this moto. So much time left to play here for Holm to make up the ground that he needs to win this overall here today. But I think at some point he's going to be a little bit bummed if he can't start clawing points consistently away from Leclerc. Leclerc so far gained some, lost some, gained some, lost some. Siebold closing up on Gebhardt. They're in a bit of a battle amongst each other, trying to run down Daniel Mills, who sits in 3rd. He's a buffer at the moment for teammate Jack Haley, who is in 2nd. And this has given Haley free range right now to try to run down Alexis Leclerc, which isn't the easiest task to do, but if there's somebody that has the ability to do it, it is certainly your 2019 Supercross champion, Jack Haley. Oh, Haley, little hiccup in that rut there. So settles back in here a little bit. And here's Leclerc off the front. So coming up on 8 minutes into this moto, and we have a couple different dynamics at play. Haley trying to run down Leclerc is the battle that we're peeking out front. Leclerc's trying to win the overall. Would be denied the overall if Adam Holm can get up to second in this moto. It's going to be a tall task for the number 17 after he went down in the first corner. But he's already in a fairly good position to try to get there. Could be a lot worse. And clearly he has some good speed to work with, so we'll keep an eye on what Holmes' progress is like. Jeremy Seabolt also has an opportunity to be a bit of a spoiler here today. Depends on what happens with Leclerc. And right now, P3 on the track, Daniel Mills is being caught by Walter Gebhardt. So Mills around the outside, Gebhardt almost got to the inside there. Could have been contact easily, and Gebhardt is flying down the hill around the outside. Trying to get this move done on Mills. How did he get that to stick? And then triples up the hill. Double, triple for Gebhardt, absolutely flying. Oh, but he almost got kicked off the side of the track there. That was a big hiccup coming out of that inside rut. Update from chat is Devin Davis's internet cut out, so he is DNF this moto. Unfortunate for him. That is essentially a mechanical DNF. Happens to a few of us in the game. It's been over the years. A couple of us have lost our internet or computer updates or whatever. It's mechanical DNF. But unfortunately for Davis, it hit him tonight. So Leclerc, Haley, and suddenly Gebhardt really starting to pick up the pace here. I'm going to be curious what this lap time is because he is flying around 2 flat 0.7 last time for Walter Gebhardt. That is a different zip code from everybody else right now. Obviously 58 was what Leclerc put down for the fastest qualifying time, but Gebhardt 2 flat 7. I mean, these guys, everybody else is 202, 203 range. Gebhardt to put this down right now is insane 10 minutes into this moto. And he's got the bit between his teeth to close up on Haley. Does a 2 flat 6 to follow up, so he just ran 2 of the fastest laps all night long. Absolutely ripping right now is Gebhardt. And that might light a fire under Haley a little bit to start closing up on Leclerc because these two can start running this pace together. Boy, wouldn't that be interesting to see them just flat out run down the champion or the defending champion. Also championship leader, but we can't see that because he, I don't have his skins for some reason. Just listen to Gebhardt on the throttle, just smooth, consistent. I don't know how he carries this much speed to the bottom of the hill and still gets that rut. That is mental. Then right up to the top, just hooks this inside rut. And then same thing happened last lap where he got sideways on that rut, but this time he blew it over the rut, so he's trying to compensate maybe by going a little bit more mid. Now he goes down, so two flats in a row. Comes unraveled quickly. Could have just run 3 203s in a row and you would have got the same effort here as a 2 flats and then a 210 he'll probably put down this time by, but he loses a spot to Seabolt and Daniel Mills. Haley continues on his way, trying to chase down Leclerc. Seabolt up to 4th, Gebhardt back to 5th, and Adam Holm did get around Blakely, so he's up to 6th. Next up for him, did a 203.3 next time by. He's got 3 riders that he can focus in ahead of him in that battle for 3rd, which is now led by Daniel Mills once again. Seabolt trying to close up. Oh, he got sideways. Mills carrying a lot of speed, but Seabolt looks like he's got a little bit more in the tank. Inside move for Siebold. Is this going to be the move to get into third on Mills? It will be, as Siebold hops to the inside, makes that pass stick, and Adam Holm is up to fifth. Walter Gebhardt lost more positions as he's now back down to P6 behind Adam Holm. Not sure what happened to the number 5 machine. Chase Blakely looks like he's crashed his way off this group, though. He's about 10 seconds behind Gebhardt, and Colt Mitchell, the other title combatant here, runs 9th. So all of our title 5, essentially, as I'm starting to call them, are inside of the top 9 at the moment. Leclerc, Haley, Holm, Gebhardt, Mitchell, in that order of where they are on the racetrack, but obviously some riders in between them. And Holm now trying to keep Gebhardt at bay, but this is going to be a tough task for even Adam Holm, who won that first moto, because Walter Gebhardt freaking on a mission when he's putting down hot laps. If he stays on 2 wheels, it would be delightful to watch him run through the field, but unfortunately he just keeps going down. Just made another big mistake. I think this is important here for Holm to not fall into the ways of Gebhardt here. If he gets past, so be it. Maybe fall in line with him and try to find some lines, but still, Holm's running a good pace, and it's good enough to start catching the people ahead of him. But Gebhardt's running an alien pace, and at the moment, it's good enough for him to find the ground quite often. So, curious to see how Holm reacts to this pressure from former teammate Walter Gebhardt. Wow, Gebhardt's so clean through that corner. And then Gebhardt almost into the back of Holm there. Oh, and was that delayed front end lock or something? That was weird. But Gebhardt goes down, and that is going to be Adam Holm's dream right there, to not have Gebhardt breathing down his neck like that. Daniel Mills checks in P4. Siebold's still third up here. Haley and Leclerc, I mean, it has stayed exactly the same at the front. This gap, 3.5 seconds. It has not moved. 2:03.9 to 2:05.1 last time by. So Haley did actually gain over a second last time, but it just doesn't seem like he's gaining the time needed. Every single time he gains a little bit, he loses some, and then gains some and loses some. It's just cat and mouse. Halfway through this, 15 minutes down, 15 minutes, and 2 laps left to go. And as everything looks to be as spread apart as it possibly can be, let's do this top 20 rundown now before it maybe gets a little bit tighter and things shake up just a tiny bit. But this top 20 rundown is brought to you by the folks at Tagger Designs. Tagger Designs making custom helmets for you. They also have wraps and other cool accessories, gear, hoodies, whatever you want. Tagger Designs got some cool stuff for you. Head over to taggerdesigns.com today and either get yourself a full custom helmet or a wrap. Got some cool stuff. Definitely would recommend checking them out. taggerdesigns.com. Alexis Leclerc, Rockstar Husky on the number 1 machine, leads the race here. Moto number 2 at Thunder Valley. Second, even though he just got thrown off the camera there for a second, Jack Haley on the number 2 Jack Daniels Racing machine. Cool to see number 1 and 2 on the track. Also number 1 and 2 on their bikes. Adam Holm's up to third. Adam Holm on the number 17 atom.com machine has made his way up to third. So we've lost Daniel Mills and Jeremy Siebold as Walter Gebhardt moves up to 4th. Panini Motorsports number 5. Jeremy Siebold drops back to 5th. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing number 19, just ahead of Daniel Mills on the JDR number 31. 7th for Chase Blakely, BPC number 21. 8th is Brandon Holmes, rival decal number 62. 9th for Kyle Carpenter on the Tagger Designs number 43. And P10 right now for Colton Mitchell on the Panini Motorsports number 6. Luke Magnetti, 107 BPC, runs 11th. 12th for Thomas Wilcox on the C4 Designs TM Factory Racing number 27. 13th, Sean Klein, Evergood number 10. Running some 2018 kit. I like it. 13th, Kevin Gonzalez on the number 33 Takatoji ride, going around the outside. Has Dylan Copeland on the number 35 Tagger Designs Factory Racing machine up in 15th, trying to chase him down. Jet Wisdom, MXLocker.com, number 403, runs 16th. 17th for Jeremy Cohenauer on the MV Films, number 13. 18th for Jeff Cooper, Hemlock on the number 89. 19th for Ethan Parks, trying to score some points for my team out here on the SYS FamMX Racing number 68. And 20th, Seth Garrett, VlastimX.com. Number 92 rounds out our top 20, brought to you by Tagger Designs here in MX Simulator. Haley's got this gap coming down a little bit, folks. 3.4 seconds. Adam Holm is 19 seconds behind this, but if Haley can get around Leclerc, that gives Holm the overall, I believe, on a 1-3. Leclerc, a 3-2, would not get it. 2:03.1 to a 2:03.1 last time, but shocking, same exact lap time. Leclerc weaving through some lap traffic, Haley doing the same. It's tight in these battles a little bit. And Leclerc did lose some time out of that 2.7 second gap now. Lap time check this time as well. We'll take a look. Haley runs a 2:03.8, so a little bit off his pace from the last time by, but a 2:05 dead for Leclerc. Clearly that lap traffic playing a little bit of a factor. And Haley down! Haley down, big kick at the end of the rollers. Tried to do the exact same thing Leclerc was doing at the end there by tripling into the inside of the corner, and it reached up and bit him. So now this is giving an opportunity, perhaps, Adam Holm to close up this gap even more. Oh, but he goes down in the same spot. Adam Holm down at the end of the rollers. That should give Gebhardt third. It does. And Siebold goes to fourth, although not very pretty of a pass for Siebold. So Adam Holm, just when he was going to have an opportunity to perhaps close that down and maybe get second in this moto, drops back to sixth behind Chase Blakely, who just went by as well. And he has it all to do again with 10 minutes and 2 laps to go. That is unfortunate for Adam Holm, who had done a great job to work his way up to third, and now has to go back to the drawing board once more. So as mentioned, it does give Gebhardt third and Siebold fourth. Blakely obviously up to fifth. Adam Holm trying to peek down the inside to get around the 21. Blakely carries more speed up the hill, but I think I like the inside better because you can double a little bit smoother, carry a little bit more speed on the landing of the second double. Seems like worked out for Holm this time because he got right back up onto the rear wheel of Blakely. And he's trying to peek inside, not too far inside though. Goes to the second rut. Blakely a big mistake, so Holm scoots around the outside. He's back up into fifth. And Leclerc all alone out front. Brandon Holmes has got around D-Mills. So Brandon Holmes is up to 7th and then goes down. Brandon Holmes goes down. And will get up still in 8th. Right ahead of Colton Mitchell coming through in 9th. So not a day Colton Mitchell was hoping to have either. Mitchell and Gebhardt seem to be quite streaky together. Really good races for the both of them at the same time, and then bad races follow suit pretty much at the same time. Two defending former, I should say, 250 outdoor champions though, Gebhardt and Mitchell on the same team trying to win the 450 outdoor title for the first time in either of their careers. Mitchell dealing with K-Carp. Kyle Carpenter on the Tagger Designs 43 machine all over the back. Nice job by Castellaneta and Aaron Rockefeller just moving right out of the way for the finish line jump. It's nice to see good lappers. Man, our front 7 or so, pretty stagnant. Not a lot of battling going on between them. Chase Blakely still has got Adam Holm right in front of him. So let's go on board with the 21 and see if he can close this gap down a little bit, perhaps. Goes to the outside. Just seems smoother and more consistent, that outside line. Get to the inside will be faster if you can make it stick, but the making it stick part is the real trick of the situation. Seems like Holm has extended that gap just a little bit more, so let's find another battle. Mitchell got around Brandon Holmes here. This is for 8th. Holmes trying to fight back on the 62. Oh, Walter Gebhardt got Jack Haley for 2nd. So Haley drops back to 3rd. And Brandon Holmes is not letting Colton Mitchell go here. Trying to keep the pressure on the number 6. Maybe force a error out of him. Ooh, big layover there for Brandon Holmes. Keeping the pressure on, making Mitchell think about him for sure. But Mitchell's starting to slowly extend that gap just a little bit. Brandon Holmes, though, for what it's worth, 4th fastest qualifier this week. Really finding his groove here in this 450 division. Kyle Carpenter's still mixed in with these guys. Thomas Wilcox, bit of a lonely ride back here just ahead of Magnetti. Sean Klein. Oh, Jeremy Cohenauer's off the track before the finish line jump. Will not get passed, though, by Jet Wisdom. Kevin Gonzalez, Jeff Cooper, Ethan Parks, Dylan Copeland. So there are minute battles going on through the field. Nothing particularly close at the moment we can keep an eye on. Brandon Holmes and Daniel Mills looks to be a good one. I think Mills just crashed his way back here, actually. Yeah, because now Mitchell, who was P8, is now up to 7th. So we got 3 riders on screen battling it out for 7th. Mitchell, Mills, and Holmes. But again, it seems like we're a little bit watching a battle of the fastest rider is ahead of the 2nd fastest rider is ahead of the 3rd fastest rider. So instead of it accordioning together to create a battle, it's actually separating a little bit. Although Mills is keeping Mitchell about as honest as Holmes did for the lap. And Kyle Carpenter putting some pressure on number 62 as well. 4-rider train here. And Carpenter, if he works it out right as he goes up to 9th, he could even get up to 7th before long. Now has the sights set on Mills and Mitchell ahead of him. Blakely up here going around Peter Like, who's a lap down. On the 83, he's trying to keep tabs on Walter Gebhardt, who is now fallen back behind Jack Haley. And Adam Holm is up to 3rd. Seabolt's back into 2nd, so Seabolt looking at 2-2 to split the 1-3 and the 3-1 of Holm and Leclerc. But this actually gives Adam Holm yet another opportunity to maybe finish 2nd in this moto and steal this overall away from Leclerc 2 weeks in a row. Again, I think Adam Holm would much prefer to pull away more than 2 points every round down the stretch here from Leclerc. But it's better than losing the overall to Leclerc on a tie, which is exactly the situation he's in right now. They both would score exactly 45 points, with the tiebreaker going to Leclerc for the better 2nd moto. So Holm trying to do everything he can to close this 5-second gap up to Jeremy Seabolt down. Maybe, just maybe, stealing a 2nd place away here late to win the overall at Thunder Valley. Back-to-back overall victories for Adam Holm, and suddenly really looking like he might be a player championship-wise as we move down the stretch into the 2nd half of the season. Gap staying steady right now. Seabolt has moved around some lap traffic, so he's got some free air to work with for a little bit, and he might take that advantage, try to open up the gap. So unlike the 2-2 performance Seabolt put in at Southwick a few weeks back on a 250 that won him the overall, this 2-2 performance will not be good enough for the overall. He will miss the overall win by 1 point. As a 2-2 gives him 44 points to the 45 that Leclerc and Holm will both be taking home. That extra point for the moto win really helps in a scenario like this. But Seabolt, in one case, is actually being a really good teammate right now for Leclerc and being that buffer between himself and someone like Adam Holm, who's trying to claw points away in this championship. And I'm assuming that's exactly why Rockstar Husky and the team over there decided it'd be a good idea to sign on Mr. Seabolt. I think it's a good idea anyway to sign on the reigning 450 Supercross champion. Sets yourself up well for maybe even having both championships on your mantle coming into next year. The number 1 plate on Seabolt, and the number indoors, and the number 1 plate on Leclerc, potentially outdoors. But as Seabolt is not even kind of in this championship battle, he is only playing spoiler for anybody else. And at the moment, he's doing a great job, like I said, in helping his teammate Leclerc keep the points away from everybody else. But here comes Holm. And this is the battle for the overall win if Holm can get by for second on Seabolt. That gap has come down significantly, 1.3 seconds. Holm seems like he is finding his groove down the stretch here once again. Whew, launching down there. Missed the rut though. Ooh, and Holm almost tucked front wheel coming out of the corners. So that cost him a lot of time. Seabolt able to open up a bit of a gap there. And time will expire this next lap by. So this is essentially 3 to go for these guys as well. 3 to go for Leclerc out front, but he's 28 seconds ahead of these guys, so no worries from his side. Adam Holm, who's in third, has 12 seconds on Haley. Colton Mitchell might catch Walter Gebhardt before this is over as well for 6, just exacerbating a dreadful day for Mr. Gebhardt. So just as quickly as Holm got to the back wheel there, immediately lost the same amount of ground that he had gained on Seabolt. 2:11.6 to a 2:08.8. But I think that was probably helped a little bit by a rough couple of sections there for Seabolt. I'm not sure if he almost went down or what exactly happened, but it certainly seemed to allow Holm to close up rather quickly. And now Seabolt has put the hammer back down and started to pull back away a little bit. So Holm at this point, I think, has to hope for a crash, which he almost got Seabolt into the back of Heagney. And Holm has to come to a dead stop not to hit Seabolt on that inside rut, which they both had went for. So that gap had gone back to nil again, and now it's slowly opening back up just a tiny bit as Seabolt stretches it back out over a second to Holm. But this is 100% in play. Adam Holm could get second here. So really, it's determining. Seabolt's guaranteed pretty much third overall, whether he finishes second or third. So this is the difference between second and first for Adam Holm. He would be second overall as it runs. If he can get Seabolt, that is the overall victory. And he has clearly got it all over him at the moment. 2-lap board coming out this time by for these guys. Leclerc's already taken it out front. Now these guys are going to see that there's 2 to go. And this might be an opportunity for either one of them to turn up the dial a little bit, get those afterburners cooking, and try to open up a gap of any kind. Holm hopping and skipping through the ruts there, and then landing nose heavy there. Not making it look pretty is the number 17, but he's certainly trying. And Seabolt doing a good job to, every time that gap comes down just a little bit, Seabolt seems to stretch it back out to a manageable position. So if Seabolt can just avoid the crash, oh my gosh, he just rode the very tippy top of that rut and got a little sideways coming up the hill. As I was saying though, if Seabolt can just avoid the crash, he might just well hold on to second here. and keep Adam Holm from winning this overall. But it's going to be close. Lap traffic, Ethan Parks moves out of the way. Oh, he's going to be in a tough spot here. He's going to have to split them. More lap traffic. This is Copeland. Siebold. Oh, that is tricky right there as Copeland decided to go far left, and Siebold was trying to get to that inside on the left. Now Holm trying to work his way around Copeland as well, as up front Leclerc takes that white flag. Another thing to think about, this could come down to cuts if Holm just gets it close. There's always the inclination that you just got to send it for the win, essentially. But if Holm just gets it within a second at the flag and cuts come into play, you just never know. That could sway the overall victory in the blink of an eye. And again, Holm in this final corner, it bit him so much in the first moto, and again he almost goes down right before the finish line. That might well cost him a shot at the overall, but Siebold was down, and here comes Holm up the hill. He's going to try to get to the inside. No, backs out of the challenge, thinks better of it. He does not want to force the issue just yet. Oh man, he might regret that move though. Copeland still trying to stay out of the way, but has to at some point get a move on here. He doesn't want to stay in front of these guys forever. Holm is right there trying to take the opportunity if it becomes available, and Siebold doing a good job around the outside here. This is Holm. He's going to pull almost alongside on that inside rut and then drag race up the hill. Siebold got the power down a little bit better. Oh, Holm so clean through that rut, but Siebold just matching him toe for toe. There's a great battle between two titanic riders in this game. And Holm got that rut really clean as well. And he's going to go to the outside here, which is something Siebold's not been doing. And Holm messes up as much as Siebold did and then hops through the rut pretty bad. Oh, man, this is just so close to call. Meanwhile, Leclerc up front, unbeknownst to him, he's going to try to win this overall by winning the second moto. He'd go 3-1 on the day. And you'd think it might seal him victory, but it's oh so close behind him. We'll go to that battle in just a minute, but through the final corner, Alexis Leclerc has come down and won Moto number 2 here at Thunder Valley. Now back to this battle for second. Siebold and Holm throwing caution to the wind here. Again, I think Holm might just try to get it close and hope for cuts. But that's always just such a risky move to take. And it's much better to just get the pass done. Either way, though, Siebold has done the job for the team, and he is going to hold on to second. 9/10 in it, so we will definitely have to wait and key in on cuts. How about Haley? He got this thing pretty close down the stretch. 5 seconds back of Holm. Obviously, the misfortune there at the end for both riders seemed to help the case there, and Gebhardt is in 5th, but Blakely's trying to fight back down the inside. Man, cuts are going to be so interesting to watch for many battles, including potentially this one as Gebhardt gets a little sideways, but Blakely's trying to keep it close. Oh, filthy scrub for Blakely in the background. Gets that corner and just tries to carry speed to the finish line. 5/10 in it there. Still that 2.6 I just can't believe out of Walter Gebhardt. Colton Mitchell. Ooh, nice Oppo whip. But goes down. That's not going to cost him a spot. Magnetti back here. Daniel Mills. So Mitchell going to get 7th, Magnetti 8th, Mills 9th, and Carpenter should get 10th, barring anything disastrous from any of these guys. So Mitchell crosses 7th, Magnetti 8th, Mills 9th, Carpenter should get 10th. Although Wilcox trying to close up here, a couple corners to go. Wilcox going for the send into the final corner, tries to get there. Not quite able to get it, and actually goes down before the finish line jump. That's going to cost him 11th because Sean Klein and Brandon Holmes are fighting to the flag. How did Klein ride out of that? And he beat him by a 10th. He beat Brandon Holmes by a 10th of a second, and Wilcox got hit by Klein as he went by. So Wilcox goes from almost getting 10th in that moto to finishing up 13th. Does a nice little 360 to crash over the flag. Jet Wisdom, last man on the lead lap. He'll get 14th, 15th Konar, 16th Cooper, 17th Gonzalez, 18th Long, 19th Parks, 20th Copeland, and oh my, Adam Holm missed it by 8/1000ths of a second. 0.94 seconds of cuts for Jeremy Siebold, and Adam Holm, by the skin of his teeth, is not going to get this overall at the end of the day. It goes to Leclerc. 3-1 for Leclerc, gets the overall done. Holm ends up second on a 1-3, and third, a 2-2 for Jeremy Siebold. I believe Jack Haley ends up fourth overall, and Colton Mitchell will probably end up fifth overall. Wow. Incredible stuff down the stretch here. All right, well, that is going to do it for us here at Thunder Valley. Great night of racing, and championship scenarios pretty much stayed stagnant. Haley lost a lot of points to Leclerc, but Adam Holm evened out with Leclerc there at the end of the day, so it stayed the same there. Mitchell, Gebhardt, tough nights for them. They'll want to regroup next week, I think, as we head to Millville, and we'll hopefully see you guys then. But a great race here at Thunder Valley in the books. And this has been round 5 of the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals in MX Simulator. So long for now.